how to prevent running out of money.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
Learn how to avoid being forced to spend down your assets. Learn how to avoid nursing home seizure of your assets. His free workshop with attorney Barry Siegel is Tuesday, September 14th at 10 a.m. at the South County Civic Center in Delray. Free workshop, none of it, so reserve your seat for this free estate planning workshop and call 1-855-FLA-ESTATE. That's 855-352-3782. 855-352-3782.
You are listening to South Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll-free, dial 1-888-COCAINE-1. That's 1-888-COCAINE-1. And now, here's...
Hey guys, welcome. Welcome to the program. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to The Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. On the radio since 1977. Man, do we got a lot to talk about. It is Friday, September 3rd, 2021. And of course, this is the most important show of the week because this is not just our live morning show this morning. This is our overnight rebroadcast. And just on our radio stations, I'm not including my YouTube channel. I'm not including iHeartRadio, the TuneIn app, our radio station app, SteveKaneShow.com, and all the other places that run this program with and without our permissions. And by the way, if you are running this program without expressed permission from us, you are in violation, okay? But just on our radio stations, our AM and FM stations, the Friday edition of the program will air a total of 35 times before we return live to you Monday morning at 6 a.m. So we always want to make sure the Friday show is the best. And man, do we got a lot to talk about today. This is just some news that I saw this morning, and it's really good news and a very good way to start off our Friday morning. Listen to this. Reporter claims that Jim Jordan, the great Jim Jordan. You guys like Jim Jordan? I love Jim Jordan. Jim Jordan is awesome. Reporter claims Jim Jordan told her that Trump will announce he is running in 2024 any day now. So, yeah, I know. Isn't that exciting? I'm excited about it. And you, I know, are excited about that too. You know, what's going on here with President Trump is things are just... Things in this country, in this world, are just... They need him. We need him. And that's the way it is. Lauren Windsor of The Undercurrent is reporting that Jim Jordan told her at an event in Dallas County, Iowa, that Donald Trump will announce he's running any day now. In addition, a Republican operative announced to those in attendance that Trump would be traveling to the state, Iowa, immediately. Now that's significant because Iowa's where it all begins. They got that Iowa caucus, and that is a very important one because that starts the primaries, it starts the whole trend, and these candidates, they move into Iowa and New Hampshire, so this is very significant. A Jim Jordan spokesman, or spokesperson, they say, is denying that Jim Jordan made such a statement, according to Politico. It began Thursday evening when Lauren Windsor broke some seemingly explosive news. And she tweeted this. Lauren Windsor on Twitter, breaking. Jim Jordan told me tonight in Iowa that Trump will announce he's running any day now. A big GOP operative in Iowa later announced to the crowd that Trump will travel here imminently. New York Times reporter Maggie Haberman quoted the tweet of Windsor appeared to suggest the report is in line with what she has been hearing from her sources, writing that Trump has told people an announcement would likely come sooner rather than later. So we got that little confirmation too. And, you know, that would be absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. It really would. You know, it'll be an interesting thing to see how the media handle this. Because the media have turned, well, I don't count MSNBC as media, but outside MSNBC, the rest of the media have turned on Biden. He has no friends. We were talking about this yesterday quite a bit. When Trump announces, will the Trump derangement syndrome immediately go into stage 4 again with these people? Or will they be a little different with Trump? First, not just because they're pissed at Biden and have turned on Biden, but they understand that for television news, Donald Trump is ratings gold. So how do you think, I'd like to hear your thoughts on this, how will the mainstream media handle this? Now, another story that I saw early this morning, the shaman from January 6th, the Viking, his attorney says that they have reached a plea deal. Okay, now this is, we don't have all the specifics, but I can speculate on it. Jacob Chansley, he's the Viking, right, the shaman, has entered into a plea deal with prosecutors regarding the charges against him for his actions during the January 6th Capitol breach. His unusual appearance, shirtless, wearing face paint, a fur hat with large horns, carrying a spear. By the way, they say his unusual appearance during the insurrection. Remember, almost 600 have been arrested in the Capitol breach, not one of them charged with insurrection. You cannot have an insurrection without insurrectionists. His unusual appearance during the insurrection, shirtless, wearing face paint, a fur hat with large horns, carrying a spear, that's why I call him the Viking, made him somewhat of an unintentional mascot for the day's events, with the Getty Images photograph at the top of every news story about the guy. According to a report by CNN, court records filed by his attorney, Al Watkins, indicate that he will plead guilty today. Today. He'll plead guilty today. The terms of the deal are not yet clear, including to which charges he is pleading guilty and what, if any, term of incarceration he might serve. Now, I'm going to tell you what the terms of this plea deal are. It's pretty simple. You know what the terms of the shaman of the Vikings plea deal? Do you know what they are? I'm going to tell you what they are in a moment. What do you think? What kind of deal did he make? Huh? I'll tell you exactly what the deal he made was. To spend as much time as he is demanded upon him giving interviews to liberal media members blaming Trump for the Capitol breach. He's going to do interview after interview. He's going to be the new Michael Avenatti. This is his plea agreement. He's going to be camped out. He's going to do a sit-down with someone like Stephanopoulos or someone at that level. And he's going to say that he answered Trump's call. And he only was doing what Trump was doing. And we are going to hear this from him right up through the 2024 election. And as the midterms come closer, you'll see him more and more and more and more and more. He's going to be the Democrats' Michael Avenatti, Joe the Plumber, etc., etc. And that's what the plea agreement is. You must blame Trump. You must trash Trump. You must do anti-Trump, liberal, hating MAGA interviews on demand. That's what it's going to be. I'm telling you, that's the plea agreement. And that's the way it is. Now, I'm very curious to what charges he pleads guilty to, because if he was pleading guilty to insurrection, that would be a big, huge banner headline everywhere, and we have not heard any of that. So we can only speculate. As of now, but he is going to go in court, plead guilty today, and we'll find out what he's pleading guilty to in the plea agreement. And hopefully that'll come, early, like 10 o'clock this morning, so we don't have to wait around all day for it. I can't wait. I can't wait for that. This guy, he's like a political prisoner, a hostage. The shaman Viking, what he says, trashing Trump, which we're going to hear from him, I promise you, is as credible as when our prisoners of war in Vietnam gave those confessions. So that's the way of that. All right, now we've got a lot to talk about today. We are going to get into this meltdown that Jen Psaki, Jen Psaki was way off yesterday. I mean, the entire press conference from the beginning, she was not, and I want to ask you if you have the same observation. I was watching the press conference because I wanted to hear them ask about the phone call and all that with the Afghan president, which we have some updates on too today. And I noticed from the moment she stood out on the stage in front of the podium, she was off, Psaki. The pressure's getting to her. I'm not, we have American MIAs now, missing in Afghanistan. Missing in Afghanistan. That's the new MIA. We don't even know how many MIAs we have. They say hundreds, some say thousands. One's too many. I don't know if that had Psaki so off yesterday. I don't know if it was the phone call between Biden and the Afghan president that's come to light. I don't know what it is. But from her first moment on camera yesterday, something was off with Psaki. So we got a lot of things to touch on today. We'll get to as much as we possibly can. And being Friday, it is open phones, so long as you're relevant to the issues of the week. I don't want to get too scattered off of the main points, but it is open phones so far as your topic that you bring up is relevant to the most recent news cycles we've been living through. All right, let's take our first break of this Friday weekend edition of the program. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
Brian Craig here. Conservative Doug called me up live on the air to tell me about his experience at Friendly Tire.
Two ball tires in the back of my Infinity. I called them up, I always do, I check prices first. Half the price of everybody else.
Half the price? Half the price at Friendly Tire. Wow.
Half the price, and not only that, his tires, which nobody, the tires I was looking at.
Steve Kane Show. Hold on.
This is a 60,000 mile warranty. So they're not only half the price, but the price is good.
So you're a repeat customer over there at Friendly Tire. You bought new tires, right? So you bought new tires, because they also sell used tires, starting at just $30 for most sizes. But you bought new tires, and they were half the price at Friendly Tire than at the other tire shops around town. That is phenomenal, and came with a 60,000 mile warranty on the tires. That's great. And of course, Friendly Tire, they never charge you to mount the tire, balance the tire, or dispose of your old tires. The prices they give you are out the door and on the road. And
everybody should go there. I don't know how anybody could buy tires anyplace else. This guy is the best prices.
That's right. That's right. Listen, give Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire a call. His number, 954-977-9445. He'll give you a quote right over the phone, 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net, or you can just stop right in. The address is listed at stevekaneshow.com. 5415 Northwest 15th Street in Margate, and that's just a little north of Coconut Creek Parkway on the east side of 441 State Road 7. Well, Conservative Doug, thanks so much, and I'm glad you got such a great deal on your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate.
Hi, this is George Corey of the Soul Authority. In this time of social distancing and sheltering in place, many people have been forced to neglect their feet. We at the Soul Authority are making it possible for you to still take care of your feet while remaining in your home, as we will send a doctor to your house for all of your podiatric needs. The best part of all is that Medicare pays for this visit. So, if you're a Medicare recipient, give
Excuse me, guys. Choked on the Gatorade.
597-7060. That's 954-597-7060.
If you're new here, make sure you subscribe.
Stop you from taking care of your feet. Call the Soul Authority today.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WW.
Alrighty, we're back. That's right, 18 minutes after 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm Brian. This is Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977, the Steve Kane Show. And let's take some calls first at 1-888-GO-KANE-1, and then we'll get into some of the topics and subject matter of today, which huge stories coming out today. Good morning, you're on the radio.
Hey, Brian, this is Barbara from Sunrise.
Hey, Barbara, what's up?
Well, I just wanted to ask you if you heard the latest on Biden protecting the border.
Which border? Our border? Which border?
Afghanistan border between them and Tajikistan.
That's a real place, Tajikistan?
Yeah, apparently. I didn't know that.
I think it borders Ishtar, if anybody gets that reference. Really? What's the name of this? What's the name of this country again?
Tajikistan.
Tajikistan? Okay. Okay, what's he doing with this place?
So I guess in 2022, he wants to build a border crossing there to stop Afghans from going into Tajikistan, and also put in quarters for the troops of Tajikistan. And I don't know how many billions of dollars that'll cost, but yeah, that was announced this morning.
So this is interesting. Yeah, I saw that story this morning. I just, it's so ridiculous. I mean, yeah, well, that's okay. We're here till 9. That's okay. I've been up since 1 o'clock in the morning. My dog is having some, she's having some stomach problems. So I've been up since 1 o'clock in the morning. Oh my gosh, I know. I wish she could go. Why can't she go through stomach problems at 1 in the afternoon? Why does it have to be at 1 in the morning?
That they always wait until 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock.
Yeah, I know. I really appreciate it. I love the dog, but come on. So she had to go. I understand. I could only imagine if I had to sit and beg someone to use the toilet. But But anyway, crying next to me in bed. I know. I heard her. I look over and she's going around doing a dance next to me in bed, crying. I'm like, oh my goodness! And I look at the clock. It's 1 a.m. And it was all. But anyway, so Biden is protecting the Tajikistan-Afghani border, while our southern border is completely open.
Yeah, and I think they said they have like hundreds of thousands of people a day coming in.
Oh man, we can't have open borders. So he's opposed to open borders over there, but not here. Well, the reason that is, why do you think that is? Why do you think Biden is keeping our southern border, while they have the Canadian border on lockdown? Why is the southern border open? Why do you think?
I think because my personal opinion is that it's probably because it's the easiest one to cross.
No, the Democrats. What the Democrats are doing, and I hate to talk about this because when I talk about this, I think a lot of people take what I'm saying the wrong way, okay? But the Democrats, they don't understand why middle class and working people don't support them. They really don't get it, okay? And they think the Republicans are the party of the rich, when really the Republicans are the party of the working man and small business, not big business and wealthy people, but they don't understand, and they've come to a false conclusion. They think that what is keeping the middle class voting Republican is that we're racist white people, and we're voting against our best interest, and they've done everything they can, but there's, these white people just can't see the light because they're so racist. This is what they tell themselves. So what they're trying to do is make the country less white. So, if you notice, the Afghan refugees, they're bringing them to red states, right? We don't even know who these people are. They're bringing them to red states. The southern border, once they cross into Texas, they relocate. Some relocate in Texas, but they relocate to other red states like Florida. Governor DeSantis talks about this. So they figure if they can make the country less white, that they'll have total control and dominance. That's what they're doing. It's
I know that. And one of the things they said this morning, too, about some of the Afghanis that are coming in, that some of the women were being threatened to let men travel with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As, so you don't know we don't know who they brought in.
Oh, Psaki says they're all being vetted. Psaki says they're all being vetted. Everybody knows.
Sure they are.
They don't even have, they don't even have enough Afghan translators. They left a huge chunk. Yeah, they left the Afghan translators, so no one can even talk to these people. So how can they vet them?
Yep, I agree with that totally.
It's so but that's what their strategy is: make the country less white, and then they figure, then we'll finally, it's a false conclusion. That they've come to about why working people vote Republican. But most of them are like Jen Psaki. They're very, very arrogant. So that's why the Canadian border's been locked down. Our southern border is open, and that's yeah.
The thing is, with a lot of Democrats, I know from working in education for 35 years. I worked for a college for 35 years. The people that are in education or educated liberals think that they know better than everybody else.
Do you still work for the college? Which college did you work for? Oh, I went there before I went to Florida Atlantic University. Yeah.
Graduated from both. Yes.
Yeah, I am the second most famous alumni from Florida Atlantic University. The most famous, of course, is Carrot Top, the comedian. He went to Florida Atlantic University too. Yeah, and there is a porn actress. There's a porn actress. I don't know if she graduated though. Watch your mouth. I mean, did I have to hit the dump button for that? I heard I hit the dump button just to be safe because I thought I heard something with an S. Oh yeah, I don't know if she graduated though. Well, this is everything with the Democrats. The Democrats always have a scheme going on. So this making the country less white is their latest scheme. They don't understand. They have an agenda that people support and put up likable candidates. But they don't get it. They're always running a racket. All right, hey, listen, appreciate the call. All right, thanks so much. Yeah, I know. Any of you guys have dogs like that or up all night? Oh my gosh, I feel so bad for her. Felt so bad for the dog. I let her out and she was just, oh my gosh, pretty bad. All right, 1-888-GO-CANE 1-888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call from anywhere. We had a COVID scare in the family yesterday. Oh man, my daughter, she started back. It just reminded me, started back in taking college classes in person. All right, none of that distance learning stuff. She's going to college classes in person, and has been, I don't know, a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. I don't know. I lose track. And my daughter yesterday, she came home and she says, I think I got the COVID. I was like, oh, great. And she's got all these symptoms, headache, sore throat, all the other symptoms too, And then what do? You Google, what are the symptoms of COVID? And she's basically got all of them. So, so we got to take precautions. So what we did is I took her over to Any Lab Test Now of Boca. We have, there are 2 Any Lab Test Nows advertising here on this program. Any Lab Test Now of Boca in the Sandalwood Plaza where the Western Beef is, on the east side of 441, south of Palmetto, north of Hillsboro. And Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood by the Coral Square Mall. They're open Monday through Saturday. No appointment, just walk in. So my daughter, she thought she had COVID. And then, of course, my wife gets upset that she's going to give us COVID, and then she's going to give somebody, we had a family thing this weekend that they're going to, and what are we going to do? What are we going to do, right? Are we going to worry? Are we going to wonder? Are we going to panic? Are we going to be concerned? Are we going to start, taking precautions around the house? So, no. So we go over to Any Lab Test Now of Boca. And they do the COVID test right there. You get the results in, well, it was less than 15 minutes, 15 minutes or less. I ran into 2 listeners of the program who were over there getting tested for COVID too. I don't know what their results were. But, they were in and out in 15 minutes or less. And my daughter, she doesn't have the COVID, thankfully so. And it really saved us over the Labor Day weekend because she would have spent all weekend worrying whether or not she had COVID. I would have been worried. My wife would have been worried. And my wife was online finding out where the closest IV treatment places are and everything. So we went over to Any Lab Test Now of Boca. And my daughter told me, she says, wow, this is such an easy thing to do. She had me go with her, and she goes over there for other lab testing, but she was a little nervous, and she was so concerned that she had COVID. We drove in separate cars. I followed my daughter over there in her car because she's like, I don't want to be in the car with you, Dad, just in case I got the COVID. I think I got the COVID. And less than 15 minutes, we got the result, and her result was negative. And boom, she felt better, I felt better, my wife felt better, and now she's got a weekend. She would have had a weekend of wasted, she's got a 4-day weekend, and it would have been all wasted. But we went over to Any Lab Test Now of Boca. And by the way, they have all the different types of COVID tests. There were others in there getting COVID tests, and a lot of people have to get COVID testing for their work. And some have to get it for travel. And sometimes there's a specific test that someone has to get, for work or for travel. There's different types of tests, and sometimes someone's required to get this particular test. They have all the different COVID tests over there, and at the lowest price. And you can get those results like that, which is really good. Now, there's lots of Any Lab Test Nows around, but the only two advertising on this program are Any Lab Test Now of Boca and Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. That means don't go to the other ones. Go to these two. And Any Lab Test Now of Boca is in the Sandalfoot Plaza, where the Western Beef is, south of Palmetto Park Road, north of Hillsboro, on the east side of 441, State Road 7. The number, you don't need an appointment. You can just walk right in. My daughter and I, we didn't call ahead. Just walked right in. 561-237-5009. 561-237-5009. Any Lab Test Now in Coral Springs is on the southeast corner of University Drive in Ramblewood, over by the Coral Square Mall. And their number, again, no appointment needed there either, 954-906-5983. 954-906-5983. If you need information, the address again, or the phone numbers, just go to stevekaneshow.com. Again, open Monday through Saturday, and they do thousands of lab tests. Any lab test you need, they do it there. Guaranteed the lowest prices. They don't just do COVID testing, although that's what we were there for yesterday. When you stop in, make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio. All right, we'll take our break and be right back. My name's Brian. Don't go anywhere. I want to tell everyone,
be right back, guys.
Our friend last weekend, Richard Pearl, and it's amazing.
The mic's stuck.
I'm still hearing from people who are just finding out.
I can't get the mic off.
Over this.
There we go.
I want to let everyone know that have been contacting us. What can you do? What can you do? Richard Pearl's store, Simply Natural, is still open for business. They're open 7 days a week, and the best thing you can do is to continue to support Richard Pearl's store, Simply Natural. His family work there, and the workers that aren't family, they're pretty close to it. They've been working for Richard Pearl at that store for 25 years. Everyone over there is an expert in the area of nutraceuticals, trained by Richard Pearl, and are able to help you. And those of you out of town, you can order by phone. If you can't make it into Simply Natural in person in Sunrise, give them a call. If you're out of town, or maybe you're in town and you can't make it to Sunrise, I get it. Call them, okay, between 11 a.m. and 9 p.m., 7 days a week. That's their hours. They'll ship to you anywhere. The number is 954-741-4045. 954-741-4045. If you've missed that number, it's listed at stevekaneshow.com. If you can stop in person, that's great too. They're located in Sunrise, just north of Sunset Strip, on the east side of University Drive, in the shopping center where the IHOP is. All right, that's Simply Natural. And when you stop in, make sure you tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show.
Have you protected you and your family from financial ruin? You are invited to attend Attorney Barry Siegel's free estate planning workshop. Make sure you and your family are properly protected, even if you already have a trust. Learn how to avoid losing an inheritance to creditors, like divorcing spouses, lawsuits, creditors, government agencies, and the IRS. Learn how to prevent running out of money before...
It's called a commercial
Learn how to avoid being...
for COVID testing.
down your assets. Learn how to avoid nursing home seizure of your assets. His free workshop with Attorney Barry...
And you can get back on track. You know what, D? Go get your own YouTube channel, get your own radio show. You can be on track all day, all right? Steve Kane Show.
Estate planning workshop and call
Hold on.
1-855-FLA Estate.
What? Louder? Okay.
852-3782. 855-352-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WW.
All right, guys, welcome back. Oh, man, 34 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian, up since 1 o'clock in the morning with my sick dog. Oh, man. I remember the days of being up all night with a baby. Now I'm up with a dog who's very old. My dog's 14. So, she's a senior citizen. She's like, 90, so it's a little tough. All right. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. You're on the radio. Good morning.
Good morning, Brian.
Oh, hey, Richie.
Yeah, I watched Jen Psaki yesterday.
Oh, man.
I usually watch her, and at the end, I'm ready to break my TV because I'll be honest with you, I can't stand her hand motions. I can't stand that she seems to talk down to everybody. And by the way, Peter, what's his name, Fox, he hasn't been in there. They had the woman in there.
Mm-hmm.
She's to me, she throws softballs at Jen Psaki. She's not.
Well, Jen, I don't like Jen Psaki at all, and not just because she's a Democrat. She does what I find. This may be, in my opinion, the most distasteful personality trait a person can have: condescension, being condescending. And when someone asks her a question, she sits there, she turns her head, she has this little smirk on her face. Now you really, like she's so much smarter than Miss Pouty Pants when President-elect Trump visited the White House, and remember that. That condescending tone is what really burns me. But yesterday, she lost it yesterday.
Look, she lost it because she's. Listen, here's the thing that I've noticed. Okay, if you challenge her, she's a snarly personality. She's just like her boss. This guy, if
senile? She's senile? A pervert?
She snaps at people. She's like constantly.
Yeah, she does.
And I'm tired of this idiot going out there making a speech and then turning his back on the United States of America, not just the press. The United States of America, because he doesn't want to answer any questions. And then she comes out and she's late for her question there because she's got to clean up the mess with his speeches. And I'm just tired of it. I mean, the whole thing is sickening. And I'm going to say this to you. I listened to you yesterday and I said, wow, what a good show. And then like an idiot, I went in and I turned on Fox. And then I went off of Fox. I started turning nobody talking about anything that you talked about yesterday.
Well, the phone call. In fact, Fox did talk about it a little bit, but all of the other news, the networks at night, and CNN, MSNBC, and the nightly networks, zero. People monitor. There's media monitoring organizations. Outside of Fox, there wasn't, and I'm not exaggerating, there was not 1 second of talk about the Biden Afghan president phone call yesterday in the media.
Exactly, and what they talked about was New York City.
Glenn, $5 super chat. Thank you. Everyone, thank Glenn.
Stuff.
Good morning. A little something. I love your show. Conservative from New York City.
And then you see they jumped in.
God bless you, Glenn. Thank you.
The abortion issue, and almost a lot of the questions, none of those reporters, hardly any of them were asking the Afghanistan question.
Well, I'm going to play the clip of Psaki when I'm done talking to you with the abortion thing in Texas, but. Psaki in general, I went out of my way to catch that press conference because of the phone call. I wanted to see what happened. And when she came out, she was in a mood. I mean, she was not her normal self. She was angry when she came out. And I'm not exactly sure what happened and what was going on with her, but she was not her normal self. She was very off yesterday.
Well, I don't consider it a press conference. I consider it a cleanup conference. I consider it a lie. He lies, she lies. She covers his lies. I consider this fake news news conferences. And the whole thing is a big show.
Well, what a lot of people don't know, now this did not happen with Sarah Huckabee or McEnany. This happened with Obama's press secretaries, and it happens with Psaki. The press gives Psaki the questions in advance. In fact, most of the time she gives them the answers too in advance. And then what they do on television is a scripted play. The questions have already been asked and answered, and then they do it for the people on television. It's a scripted play, and I'm not making that up. That is true, confirmed by members of the media.
Yeah, and she knows everybody, and it seems like there's one big club. It's like the George Stephanopoulos.
See, they shouldn't know. You know, Steve and I do know some elected officials, okay, but we don't know as many as we could. People reach out and everything, and I don't believe people in media should be friends with these elected officials. You know, that's what got Glenn Beck in trouble. He became too close with Ted Cruz, and he had this Lincoln bedroom fantasy with President Ted Cruz and all this stuff, you know, and people in media should not be friends with politicians and the political people, because you can't give your friends, come on, and you don't want to burn your friendships, you don't want to burn your bridges. It's no good.
I can understand you having to change topics, because to keep people interested, you just can't stand the same thing day after day. You have to give variety, or you'll lose listeners. People get tired of it. But people out there shouldn't get tired of listening to Afghanistan. Because
you think we're done with Afghanistan? Are you kidding? I got about 5 stories on Afghanistan today.
Press is already. They've already checked, because the international press is not in those news conferences. And you got the.
Well, that's not true. One of the clips I'm going to play today, there was an Australian reporter in the press briefing with Psaki yesterday that called her out on the carpet over Afghanistan. I'm going to play that later, but no, I'm not going to. Afghanistan's not going to go away. The press can try to pivot to hurricanes and other things, but the Taliban are going to continue to act up, and they're going to continue to do things, and it's always going to be in the news.
Yeah, well, I turned her off. I said I can't take this. I can't. Watching her flail her hands like she.
You know, my wife told me something I did not realize. You know, she went on vacation during the fall of Afghanistan. She thought she could go on vacation. She just started this job 6 months ago. She's taking a vacation. But she came back from vacation. I didn't notice. Women notice these things. Her hair was brown. She actually dyes her hair red. I didn't realize that. My wife pointed that. I guess because she's completely covered in freckles. She figures if she has the red hair, it makes it look better than, you know. But yeah, she's not a redhead.
High definition. I mean, she is coded. She looks like Annie. And you know that play, Annie on Broadway?
Or Dennis the Menace. Yeah.
Honest to God, people out there, we got people that are stuck behind enemy lines that are getting hunted.
The MIAs, missing in Afghanistan.
Yeah, like deer season. And you want to know why Sean Hannity, by the way, his ratings are going to go high again, because he's not let go of it. He just comes out and blasts Afghanistan. Day 18, 19, he's doing that hostage thing, and he lays it, and they're not going to be able to duck this. This guy's a total disaster. And I want everyone out there to listen to this one. Why is it going to take mercenaries to try to pull some of our people out? Why is the United States government doing it?
Because we are run, the government right now is being run by very corrupt public officials. You know, it's Milley. You know, I was talking yesterday, Milley made a phone call to Afghanistan just like Biden's on the same date, putting pressure on them to lie. And I think Republicans are pushing, there's a story today, Republicans are pushing for a release of the full transcript of the phone call, which will happen. And then it's only a matter of time before the audio gets released. Don't worry. It may happen this weekend, because they figure during a long Labor Day weekend, if they release it, it'll get lost. But it could come out, but it will eventually come out. And I mentioned this yesterday once or twice. The audio, I'm dying to hear the audio, because reading the transcript, I just have a suspicion that Biden is going to sound a lot more with it than he normally does, that this senility thing may be a lot of an act so that he can get away with his corruption. Because when you read that transcript, he's involved in a very detailed, very, very detailed, corrupt conversation, and it didn't sound like his normal self in the transcript.
In closing, for me, real quick, the hurricane yesterday, not a hurricane, but it was a hurricane. It moved very slowly. It was very powerful, okay? It was powerful. But they predicted that they were going to get this, because there was I'm not a weatherman, but there was a front and a hurricane joined together, which is a very unusual, once in a century thing, and it has nothing to do with global warming. And all this Green New Deal crap, the storm would have still been there and still been the same.
Well, they started this. One of the governors came out and started talking about this, the climate change. I can't remember which one, and there are not more hurricanes. There's not more bad weather. There's two things that we didn't have years ago. One is we have more advanced technology, so we are able to see weather that we didn't see before. If there's a storm in Tahiti, you'll see it in real time. 50 years ago, you'd see it maybe, if at all, a week or two later. And also another thing we have more of, other than technology allowing us to see weather we never saw before because we didn't have the ability to, report on a cell phone like you do now, is we have more governors that have their hand out for federal FEMA money. So when a regular storm comes through, they declare an emergency, and boom, they get all this money from the federal government. It's a big con, and they hype up the bad weather. We get bad weather here in Florida all the time. And we're a Republican state, so you don't hear that whining. And I saw this press conference with Schumer yesterday. When he was talking about the climate change and what's going. New York's pretty flooded, but they're all wearing masks, right, at this press conference, and they were taking turns at the podium. They take their mask off when they speak. If they're so concerned that they're wearing a mask, why are they sharing a microphone? They're all there. They take off the mask and they use the same microphone. I use my own private microphone. I always have, not because of COVID. Always have, because people. I'm not going to put my mouth. It's like putting my mouth up to a urinal. Sharing a mic. But if they're so concerned about catching something from one another, you don't share a microphone. That's insane.
Block water from running down a sewer with carpets all over.
Oh yeah, isn't that nice? And so far as New Orleans, if you live below sea level on the ocean, get out of New Orleans. That's a stupid place to live.
New York is so dirty. These people, there's garbage all over the street, and the block and the sewers, and garbage in the sewers. In other words, clean up the damn sewers.
Yeah. Was that sewage that was going through these people's buildings? And I what I was looking for that I didn't see in the New York flood videos? I was waiting to see rats swimming in the water, but I didn't see any rats. They say when you're in Manhattan at any period in time, you're within 6 to 8 feet of a rat.
Exactly. The water, listen, the sewers are blocked with garbage all the time, not just because of the rain.
Because they're pigs up there. They're a bunch of litter bug pigs.
Yeah, it's not a rain problem. It's like the forest. They have to clean out the sewers once in a lifetime. They only wash the subway once in over 100 years, by the way, when COVID came out. It's a nasty place.
Yeah. Thank you. All right, Richie the bus driver, have a great Labor Day. All right, my name's Brian. We'll take our last break of the first hour, come back with some audio sound bites and more calls. We'll be back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Jacqueline, $20 super sticker. Thank you, Jacqueline. Everyone thank Jacqueline for me. That's awesome.
Daily dose of political pandemonium. Now you need a cure for the resulting anxiety and depression. Join us for the perfect prescription to help you cope with the world.
Saturday mornings at 11 and Sunday nights at 11.
If you want answers about love, anger, pain, and relationships, join us for your chance to call in and share your stories, tears, or laughs. Take the opportunity to tell me what's on your mind.
Brian Craig here. I've been telling you for years how great MyPillow products are, but don't just take my word for it. This is one of our listeners, Todd. He bought the MyPillow mattress topper, and he called us live on the radio to tell us about his experience with the MyPillow mattress topper.
Yeah,
Be right back.
I want to get testimonial about my pillow topper.
You ordered the MyPillow, the mattress topper?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, tell me.
At little or no cost, you can receive your very own therapeutic shoes and custom inserts. Medicare recipients are entitled to 1 pair of quality diabetic shoes and 3 custom inserts. Call the Soul
We're back.
Authority today.
Make sure you refresh, guys.
954-597-7060.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WW.
All right, 10 before 7. I'm Brian. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. I'm having computer issues today. I made a mistake. I did something to one of my computers here, and it's just a mess. Or one of my computer programs. I don't know exactly what I did to it. But all right, hey guys, welcome back. Okay, so Psaki just had a meltdown over this abortion new law in Texas, and the Supreme Court didn't hear it. So now abortion is illegal in Texas if there is a heartbeat. And, I am strongly pro-life. Steve, even when he used to be a liberal, was always pro-life. And, my daughter is adopted. Steve has 6 adopted children. My mother's adopted. And he can't, and being pro-life is very important. We haven't talked about abortion and pro-life issues on this program in a while because it hasn't been in the news in a while. And, I don't know how many abortions are done today, like the surgical abortions. I don't know. I have assumed, and I could be very wrong about this, that there's far fewer than there used to be. And the reason I think that is because they've got those over-the-counter morning after pills and stuff. And it seems to me that most young women that are in that age would take that option. So I don't know, but one thing, the left always accuse us on the right of being anti-science with climate change, for example. Climate change. And other things. They always say we're anti-science. But really, they're the ones that are anti-science. They just use science. They always find some doctor that'll agree with them so that they can push their agenda. And I thought this was interesting yesterday because when I was listening to the Psaki press conference, and she was first asked about this Texas abortion bill and the Supreme Court story, and she was asked what Biden's position is, and she said Biden's position is that the government shouldn't be telling people what to do with their health care, shouldn't tell people what medical decisions to make. I'm like, are you kidding me? That's all the government's been doing for a year and a half, especially the Democrats. But the science denial of the left when it comes to abortion is this. The Roe v. Wade decision, Norma McCorvey was the woman in the Roe v. Wade case. And a lot of you may not know this. The woman in Roe v. Wade never had an abortion. She never had an abortion. She had the baby. And my recollection is she had a daughter who's got to be about 50-ish, close to late 40s. She had the baby. She never had an abortion. A lot of people don't know that. The Roe baby is a grown woman and maybe even a grandmother at this point. No one knows that. And she also, Norma McCorvey, the Roe v. Wade woman, also became a very strong pro-life activist and spent most of her life as a pro-life activist. I've interviewed her at least once. I know we've had her on with Steve. I don't remember if I interviewed her on the radio or my podcast, but I did interview her myself. Steve's talked to her, and she's no longer with us. But she had a lot of guilt because her experience, her name was used to promote abortion, and she became a Christian. In fact, if you watch Right Side Broadcasting, what's the name of the priest that's on Right Side Broadcasting all the time? Do you know who I'm talking about? I cannot remember his name. Gosh darn it. We've had him on the show too multiple times. Do you know who I'm talking about? The priest that is on Right Side Broadcasting. Oh boy, he's Catholic priest. He's based here in Florida, although not this part of Florida. He's up in like the Melbourne area or something. I cannot think of his name to save my life right now. But if any of you guys know who I'm talking about, yeah, Frank. Is it Provone? Well, anyway, the priest that you see on Right Side Broadcasting, I bet you don't know this. He's the priest that brought Norma McCorvey to Christ. He's the priest that brought the Roe v. Wade woman to Christ. Isn't that something? That's an amazing story. And I know a lot of people don't know that about him. Yeah. Ask that. You see him at Right Side Broadcasting in the chat room, ask him about it. He'll love to talk about it. But anyway, I know, is that amazing? She never had the abortion. But here's the thing where the liberals deny science. The Roe v. Wade decision was in 1973. Is that the same year that Biden went to the Senate, 73? It was in 1973. I was 2. The abortion laws in this country that are based around opinions on Roe v. Wade. Roe v. Wade was a decision that was made with really 1960s medical technology. My daughter was born like 7 weeks early, 7 weeks premature. In 1973, the life expectancy for premature children was not what it is today. A child could not live outside of the womb in 1973 as early as they can today. Also, there wasn't the same medical technology to detect life inside the womb. So that ruling should be revisited because it is based on 1960s medical technology. It is very outdated science. There's also another thing. This exchange with Psaki. Let me play the meltdown.
Following up on the sexist law, why does the president support abortion when his own Catholic...
Tim, $5 super chat. Thank you. I want to thank Tim. Good morning, Brian. What are your thoughts on Joe Rogan?
He believes that it's a woman's right,
and his
it's
COVID.
a woman's body, and it's her choice.
Why does the president...
I'll talk about it later.
...should look out for the unborn child?
He believes that it's up to a woman to make those decisions, and up to a woman to make those decisions with her doctor. I know you've never faced those choices, nor have you ever been pregnant, but for women out there who have faced those choices, this is an incredibly difficult thing. The president believes their rights should be respected. Go ahead. I think we got to move on. I think we have to move on. You've had...
Sounds like a very personal issue for Jen Psaki. She may have revealed something about herself there. I don't know. Seemed to really hit a sore spot with her. She was a little overly snarky with that. Here's another factor, okay? Beyond medical science and the advancements between 1973 and 2021. There's also been big social changes. Back in the early 1970s, it was becoming more acceptable, but still, for a woman to be pregnant outside of wedlock had a lot of social stigma to it that could cause a woman some problems in society. And I'm not saying that it was a good reason back in the 70s to have an abortion because people would give a woman a hard time, but it was a different society then. If a woman in the 60s and 70s was pregnant and she was not married, what the family would try to do was hide it. Hide the pregnancy, hide her, send her off to stay with an aunt somewhere or something. Because there was such social stigma in our society back then that does not exist today. There is not social stigma to out-of-wedlock pregnancies today. Pregnancies inside of marriage in many parts of this country are unusual. It's more normal to be pregnant outside of marriage in many societal circles in America today. So the stigma, so the medical technology that the decisions are based on is out of date. Babies can live outside the womb much earlier. We can detect brain waves in life earlier than we could. And also the social stigmas against women being pregnant outside of wedlock no longer exist in American society. Those are very outdated thoughts on abortion. And just because the Supreme Court rules something does not mean that it is going to be that way forever. The Supreme Court on multiple occasions ruled that black people were property. Separate but equal. They ruled in favor of segregation. They ruled against escaped slaves to return them to their slave masters. So, there was, just because the Supreme Court rules on something does not mean it cannot be revisited later on when there are changes in our society and whether it's, like I said, medical science or societal norms. And Jen Psaki also she got back into that liberal talking points when it comes to abortion, that medical decisions are between a woman and her doctor. When they've spent the last year and a half mandating medical decisions by everyone. In fact, they're telling people that aren't vaccinated that they should not even travel over this Labor Day weekend. And there were all kinds of restrictions being put upon people's freedoms if they don't comply with the medical decisions that Biden and other unelected bureaucrats have forced upon them. So when it comes to this Texas decision, Jen Psaki, are medical decisions between a patient and a doctor and no one else's business, or are they everyone's business? You're having it both ways here, trying to have your cake and eat it too. We'll take our break for the top of the hour. I'd like to hear your thoughts on all of these topics, including what I just brought up with Psaki and the Texas abortion law. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. It's a toll-free call from anywhere, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We're here live Monday through Friday from 6 until 9 a.m. with overnight rebroadcast 7 nights a week. That's right, 7 nights a week, midnight till 6 a.m. We'll take a break and be right back after this. Don't go anywhere.
Hi, this is Lori Kane, and I want to talk to you about Dr. Gupta at
Good morning. If you're new, subscribe.
I just love Dr. Gupta.
I'd like you guys give me a call. Let's talk about this Jen Psaki thing.
He never does unnecessary work.
I don't have talking points, Eric. I don't have talking points. This is all off the top of my head.
Because he has the best prices around. Let me give you the number. Write it down. It's 954-922-4633. That's 954-922-4633. BrightonDentalCare.com. He's just the best.
We've got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
I want to tell everyone, we lost our friend last weekend, Richard Pearl. And it's amazing that, Steve, I'm still hearing from people who are just finding out. People are in shock over this. And I want to let everyone know that have been contacting us, what can you do, what can you do? Richard Pearl's store, Simply Natural, is still open for business. They're open 7 days a week, and the best thing you can do is to continue to support Richard Pearl's store, Simply Natural. His family work there, and the workers that aren't family, they're pretty close to it. They've been working for Richard Pearl at that store for 25 years. Everyone over there is an expert in the area of nutraceuticals, trained by Richard Pearl, and are able to help you. And those of you out of town, you can order by phone. If you can't make it into Simply Natural in person in Sunrise, give them a call. If you're out of town, or maybe you're in town and you can't make it to Sunrise, I get it. Call them, okay, between 11 a.m. and 9 p.m., 7 days a week, that's their hours. They'll ship to you anywhere. The number is 954-741-4045. 954-741-4045. If you've missed that number, it's listed at SteveKaneShow.com. If you can stop in person, that's great too. They're located in Sunrise, just north of Sunset Strip, on the east side of University Drive in the shopping JFO, JAFO right, on the bound, $5 super chat. Everyone think JAFO.
Steve Kane Show.
By leftist doctrine, she was very transphobic. Oh, yes, Psaki. How dare she assume his gender and that he was not capable of having a baby? I know. A lot of people pointing that out. Thanks for that super chat. Steve Kane Show. Yeah. What's your name?
Lawsuits, creditors, government agencies, and the
Okay.
IRS. Learn how to prevent running out of money before you run out of life. Learn how to avoid being forced to spend down your assets. Learn how to avoid nursing home seizure of your assets. His free workshop with attorney Barry Siegel is Tuesday, September 14th at 10 a.m. at the South County Civic Center in Delray. Seating is limited, so reserve your seat for this free estate planning workshop and call 1-855-FLA-ESTATE. That's 855-352-3782. 855-352-3782.
You are listening to South Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll free, dial 1-888-GO-CANE 1. That's 1-888-GO-CANE 1. And now, it's Steve Kane.
Alrighty, welcome back. Hour number 2 has begun. Show is flying by 5 minutes after 7. It's Friday morning, September 3rd, 2021. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. On the radio since 1977. Our number, toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. A little analysis on Jen Psaki's strange press conference yesterday. Let's take a call or two. Good morning. Wellington, you're on the air. Hey, Vince.
I can't believe we're still watching the same puppet show with this guy Biden in office. I'm just appalled at what Psaki did yesterday. I can't.
But what did Psaki do specifically that has you so appalled?
I mean, she just danced around the questions of everything. It's just so rotten and rude. I knew it from before, but now it's just getting...
Well, what happened with Psaki... See, I know a little bit about public speaking. I do it many hours each day, right? Do 2 shows a day, radio show, podcast. I had the press conference on yesterday because I wanted to see if this phone call thing came up. When she came out, Jen Psaki was angry. And whenever you are involved in a public discussion of any kind, whether it's a speech or you're doing Q&A, you've always got to maintain your cool. Even me, there's been a handful of times over the years where after a show something's happened and I felt very upset about it. And it's always been when I was on the air angry at someone or something. Might have been a caller, and I never lose my cool with any. You might think I do, but I never on the air lose my cool with a caller or anyone, even if I'm yelling at them, because when you're angry, anger is an emotion that's a lot like intoxication. You lose control. And she was out of control yesterday. She came out pissed off about something. And that's why she snapped at that guy who, I don't know how she, as a liberal, how can she assume that he's a biological male who cannot become pregnant? That's a big violation of their LGBT whatever thing they got going on these days.
Well, they're obscene anyway, Democrats. But, what I have in far as to speak about it on is, related to Jim Jordan. You brought him up. You brought the Durham report up yesterday. But what we're watching in this world is these people, they really don't. They're like Trey Gowdy. They got a good talk. They speak real good, but they never know action. You got Mitch McConnell. He's quiet as a mouse now. You got all these...
Well, everybody knows, Mitch, I'll ask you guys this. Is it possible for a man, I'll ask this of our ladies in the audience, okay? Is it possible for a man to be less attractive than Mitch McConnell? I'm sure there are other men that are ugly in different ways, but physically, he has got to be as unattractive as a man can possibly be. Yet he is married to an immigrant from China who is worth many millions of dollars. Before they even got married, her family, her father went to school with the former president of China, and they're millionaires many times over in China. So why would an heiress, and she's not bad looking, she's not repulsive like him, why would an heiress who could have any man she wanted marry a man who is as physically unattractive as is humanly possible for a man to be, outside of, John Mary, if you know who that is?
Yeah, for sure. I agree with you that the guy is repulsive looking, but look at Lindsey.
Oh, you don't get what no. He's don't you understand? She married him for a reason. He is the Manchurian Senate leader, senator. I can't even talk to you. I've been up since 1 a.m., okay? My dog had me up all night. He is the Manchurian senator. She is like his recruiter. Do you understand what I'm saying? Don't you? He like Joe Biden. He and Joe Biden have a lot in common, including the same employer, the CCP.
Right. And it's disgusting, Brian. I just kind of wanted to vent to you a little bit and tell you that you and Richie really nailed it earlier when you were speaking about everything. But
well, I appreciate it. All right. Well, take care, Vincent Wellington. Take care. Yeah, so Jen Psaki, her press conference, she was just really out of it yesterday. I'll replay the one clip that everyone's talking about for people that are just tuning in. But then she had a little run-in with the foreign press, too. But let me play the first clip that's in the news again.
On the Texas law, why does the president support abortion when his own Catholic faith teaches abortion is morally wrong?
He believes that it's a woman's right, it's a woman's body, and it's her choice.
Why does the president, who does he believe then should look out for the unborn child?
He believes that it's up to a woman to make those decisions, and up to a woman to make those decisions with her doctor. I know you've never faced those choices. Have you ever been pregnant? But for women out there who have faced those choices, this is an incredibly difficult thing. The president believes their right should be respected. Go ahead. I think we got to move on. I think we have to move on. You've had plenty of time today.
Sounds like somebody hit close to home there with Psaki. So, yeah, but then she had a moment. There was, the foreign press are also in there, and sometimes they have pretty good questions. There was a lady reporter from Australia, and she had Psaki on the ropes. Listen to this. This is the Australian reporter in the White House press briefing yesterday. Now, she's wearing a mask, but I think you can hear what she's saying. A little muffly, the Australian, but you can hear what she says.
Taliban spokesman told the Australian News Network that the 41 Australians who died in
Steve Kane Show.
died in May. During this time, the Australian government found out about the withdrawal date change through media reporting. We weren't included on the list from Secretary of State Antony Blinken of countries called on the final day.
Okay, now what she's saying here, you'll hear Psaki a little more clearer. The reporter is off mic and is muffled with a mask, but the Australian reporter has said that the Australian government found out about the withdrawal from Afghanistan from media reports that Biden and the administration, the State Department, the White House did not call the Australian Prime Minister or anyone in the Australian government and let them know that we were leaving Afghanistan.
August 31. Does the Taliban have a point?
I'm not...
Okay, and 41 Australians have died in the Afghan war, and she's asking, have the 41 Australians who died in Afghanistan died in vain, and why did no one call the Australian government and let us know that you were pulling out?
31. Does the Taliban have a point?
I'm not sure I understand your question.
We have sacrificed a lot for this alliance, and including the lives of 41 Australians, and we've been left seemingly out of the loop during this withdrawal process. There hasn't been high-level communication with the Australian government during this time.
I don't think that's true. I don't think that we have not engaged with the Australian government. We have worked with our partners around the world to evacuate individuals from a range of countries around the world.
She doesn't think. Well, it happened. Here's the Australian reporter who is telling her, because she has, you know, this is a discussion in Australia, that the Australian government found out that the United States was pulling out of Afghanistan from CNN.
Who need evacuating from the country. I would say, and the president would say if he were standing here, those 41 Australians did not die in vain. And we are incredibly...
Well, really, then what did they die for? Tell us what they died for, Jen Psaki. Huh? What did the 41 Australians die for then? If it wasn't in vain, can you specifically tell us what they can point to as a success in Afghanistan? It was not a good day for Jen Psaki yesterday. Completely off during the whole press conference. Oh man, I would not be surprised if she's not there today. She's going to have a Labor Day weekend and have a filler come out there for her, because that was a rough day yesterday. All right, our number 1-888-GO-KANE-1. You're on the radio. Good morning.
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Hey, Doug.
You know, when that Jen Psaki said to that guy, well, you've never been pregnant. He should have said, well, I don't need to be pregnant to know if you stop a heartbeat, you're murdering the person. You know, everybody says, oh, it's a baby, like it's not born yet. It's not a person. It's a person. You know.
Well, I'll tell people, you know, there are people in prison who, well, Scott Peterson is a great example. Scott Peterson killed his wife, Lacey Peterson, and he's in prison in California. But he's in prison. Scott Peterson is in prison for 2 murders. He was convicted of murdering his wife, Lacey, and their unborn child. And I remember, you know, Scott Peterson is one of the creepiest killers of all. And I remember, people will forget this. I mean, this was crazy what the Democrats were doing. When the prosecutors charged Scott Peterson with a double homicide, the murder of his wife and unborn child, the Democrats came out and were trying to get them to drop the murder charge against Scott Peterson on the unborn child because it was designating personhood to an unborn child. It was a big thing it's been many years now, but they, I mean, it was crazy. I couldn't believe they were trying to help Scott Peterson. That's how low-life they are.
I didn't know that. That's a typical Democrat liberal thinking that they'll just do their narrative and do anything they can to make sure what they want is what they get. Now, this, sickening. These people really need to be voted out. Get rid of them all.
Well, when you look at everything, Democrats are always on the wrong side of everything. Abortion, they were this party of slavery, the party of the Klan, everything. The party of internment, the party of Jim Crow, the party of the Tuskegee experiments. Everything bad in American history, especially the things that Democrats are always telling us to apologize for, have come from the left. Everything.
How the hell can that be possible? Everything they do, everything, they never come up with anything good. This is amazing. It must be planned. I can't believe that they actually all believe this crap and wind up coming out with this stupidity and make...
Well, you know, what the Democrat, you know, they talk about insurrection. I was talking in the first hour, the Shaman, Viking, today, he's made a plea agreement with prosecutors. Today, he's going to be in federal court pleading guilty. We don't know to what yet. I bet you not insurrection. And his plea agreement, this will be an unspoken part. Part of his plea agreement is that he has to spend the rest of his life going on TV on CNN blaming Trump for January 6th. He's going to go out and say he was just doing what his president told him to do for the rest of his life. That's the real plea agreement. But, you know, they talk about insurrection. The Democrats led an insurrection during the Civil War. It wasn't the first time they tried an insurrection, but they launched an insurrection during the Civil War, and the Democrat insurrection has never stopped. They are constantly trying to bring down this country. They've been trying to bring down the United States since the Civil War, and it never stopped.
They stop and they keep going and going, and people still vote for them. This is what I don't get. How many people?
Yeah, I know. All right, Doug, take care. Have a good weekend. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Hello?
Yes, you're on the air. What's your name?
Hey, it's Mike from North Dakota.
Mike in North Dakota. How you doing?
Hey, so I just couldn't understand why Psaki, I mean, I guess I don't need to understand it. It's Psaki, but the whole abortion thing, I don't know. I remember you said that you got on the TikTok and, you know, to try that out, but I don't know if you've seen lately, but the trend that happens on there where girls are posting about, oh, they're pregnant and, oh, looks like I'm going to go get another abortion. And it's like a game to them.
Well, if girls on TikTok are doing that, I wouldn't assume that they're telling the truth. They just want to get views on their TikTok videos. But Jen Psaki, let me play this again. Jen Psaki lost it yesterday. Let's listen to this. Hold on.
Why does the president support abortion when his own Catholic faith teaches abortion is morally wrong?
Well, he believes that it's a woman's right, it's a woman's body, and it's her choice.
Why does the president, who does he believe then should look out for the unborn child?
He believes that it's up to a woman to make those decisions, and up to a woman to make those decisions with her doctor. I know you've never faced those choices, nor have you ever been pregnant, but for women out there who have faced those choices, this is an incredibly difficult thing. The president believes their right should be respected. Go ahead. I think we got to move on.
See, sounds like she's a little overly sensitive on that issue, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. There's...
I mean, does it sound to you like it? We don't know. I'm not saying this is true, but does it sound like Jen Psaki may have told us something about herself?
Oh, she was very hesitant, and that definitely...
Well, what do you think? What do you think? Why would she be so hostile to that question?
Because it hit home.
Yeah, and if it did hit home, if she, you know what we're saying here. If that's true, if it's true, her anger, you know, people don't get hostile like that if they feel good about what they've done, if they've done the right thing. They only get like that if they have guilt. Not truth, guilt. You only get angry about something like that if you have some guilt about what you've done.
Exactly, and she's obviously... You know, she got caught. because even though it wasn't directed at her, it was indirectly directed at her.
Mm-hmm.
And so, therefore, it just, obviously it blossomed to her, spouting out the way she did.
Yeah.
And then it's just, it was just bad. And but the whole thing is just, it's nonsense. You were spot on about, it does need to be, Roe v. Wade does need to be revisited because of the medical advancements that happened 50 years ago.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you think about it, if you went to a doctor in 1973, they graduate. If you got a young doctor, he graduated medical school in the 60s. So there were doctors practicing that graduated medical school in the 30s. The technology, so far as children and babies, was so primitive in 1973 compared to today. It has to be revisited on that alone. Just on that one subject, it has to be revisited, because what is survivable today is not the same as 73.
Well, not even 10 years ago.
That's right.
So, I mean, that is just how primitive medical advancement has become. Is what was popular yesterday is not going to be today.
Yeah.
Yesterday is not going to work today, because guess what? We found something new.
Mm-hmm.
And, that actually saves lives, so
mm-hmm.
Definitely something happened, or we can assume something happened that hit home to her, and that's why she spouted off the way she did.
There was, which is, that means that deep down she's on our side. She wouldn't be that touchy on the subject if she really thought, like, I'm not paranoid about being pro-life. I'm not getting snarky with someone over being pro-life. A woman wouldn't, so there's, yeah. All right, take care, man. Thanks for the call. Let's take our first break of the second hour. It's 22 minutes after the hour. Mike Lindell, the great Mike Lindell. You guys love, everyone who does not love Mike Lindell. He's a great guy. He's big MAGA guy. He has everything on the line defending President Trump and MAGA. He's being sued personally. His company's being sued. And he has lost tens of millions of dollars being knocked out of all these major retailers around the country that will no longer carry MyPillow products. I saw a story this week that he's selling off some of his assets. There was a story at Trending Politics. They were talking about he sold off his airplane. I don't know. Hopefully it was just a regular sale. Maybe he's upgrading. I don't know. But they're saying he was selling off. Trending Politics, pretty credible. They're saying that Mike Lindell's been selling off assets to cover his legal bills. Listen, go to MyPillow.com. Use our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, and you're both supporting the Steve Kane Radio Show, and you are also supporting the great Mike Lindell. And for those of you that are listeners outside of Florida that may not be able to support the show through our local sponsors as much, although some of our local sponsors you can use outside of Florida, but MyPillow is one that you can use no matter where you are. And our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, works both in Canada and the United Kingdom as well. Those of you in Australia, I don't know. I know we got a lot of listeners in Australia. Next time I talk to them, I'm going to ask them about the promo code in Australia. I don't know. You can try, but I do know Mike Lindell's office told me a couple weeks ago that our promo code Kane, Kane, also works in Canada and the UK. There are incredible deals at MyPillow.com. If you go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio listener specials. Right now, and this is a very limited time special, you can get the MyPillow My Slippers, which I wear every day, for 50% off. 50% off. Mike Lindell says he guarantees these are the most comfortable slippers you will ever own, and I can attest to that since I wear them myself every day. They have many different styles and colors for both men and women, and the MyPillow My Slippers, they come with an exclusive 3-tier cushioning system. And let me go through this. Is amazing. My slippers are meant to be worn all day, no matter what you're doing, outside or inside. I wear them here to the radio station all the time. Of course, on the outside, genuine leather, and then inside, the MyPillow proprietary foam to give you all-day support. That's what makes them good for all-day wear, because you get support in the MyPillow My Slippers. Also, memory foam to provide the best comfort. Patented impact gel of MyPillow which helps prevent fatigue, and of course, the indoor-outdoor sole for all-day use on the MyPillow My Slippers. So go to mypillow.com, click on the radio listener specials, use the promo code KANE at checkout, KANE, 50% off the MyPillow My Slippers. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879.
Steve Kane radio listeners love Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca.
I went over to Champagne Automotive, and I gotta say that this man is the most fair mechanic I have dealt with in my entire life. We took a car over there that was not being used yet. You know, it belonged to my 90-year-old dad. Everybody I had taken it to before was charging an astronomical amount of money. But when we took it over there, Eddie took a look at it, and I gotta say that this man fixed the car. It's running like a charm. Anybody that needs a mechanic, I strongly recommend Eddie, and he is just the best thing that's happened to this family as far as car maintenance goes. It's fixed. Bottom line, it's fixed, and the price was right.
Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca will never do a repair on your car that your car doesn't need. And their prices are low. Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca. Give them a call. 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101.
If you suffer with diabetes, there's a 25% chance that you'll develop a foot ulcer that can lead to severe health consequences, including amputation. At the Sole Authority, at little or no cost, you can receive your very own therapeutic shoes and custom inserts. Medicare recipients are entitled to 1 pair of quality diabetic shoes and 3 custom inserts. Call the Sole Authority today, 954-597-7060.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
All right, welcome back. We are running late. Okay, I took that last break very late. My apologies. This will be a short segment so we can be back on schedule. Okay, if I don't take the next break on time, it'll be like a traffic jam for the rest of the show. So this will be a very short segment, and that's my fault. I apologize to you guys. I lost track of time. You know, the media are using the bad weather to cover from having to cover some of these political stories. It's really amazing because, you know, in the news business, you want hot stories that people want to see, hear, and know more about, and they're running all these interference stories that no one cares about. You know, here's the thing about the weather: the only people that care about the weather are the people directly affected by it. Okay, you know, we're going to get another hurricane here in South Florida again. It happens. When we have hurricanes hit us, we don't talk about the hurricanes that hit us too much. I mention it here and there because the only people that care about the hurricane are the ones that have been negatively impacted by it. Even the flood. So they spend all this time talking about the hurricane here, the floods in New York. You know who cares about the floods in New York? New Yorkers. I looked at it for 10 seconds. Oh, that's interesting. Next. And they're doing this all day because there's a lot of things like that phone call. That phone call between Biden and the Afghan president was mentioned on Fox just a little tiny bit yesterday. The rest of the mainstream media, the evening news, CNN, and MSNBC, 0 seconds of coverage. I saw a story about that online today. There's these media watchdog groups, and they monitor how many minutes certain stories are covered. Not 1 second of coverage on that phone call story. Are you kidding me? After what they did with that Venman Ukrainian business with President Trump? But the media are trying to pivot back away from Afghanistan, but it's not going to fly. And it's not going to fly because the Taliban are out of control. The terrorists over there are out of control. And they will continue to act out. And where are the Americans? We had a caller call a couple days ago who asked a very, very good question. I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before. We had a caller that said this. Where are the rescued Americans, the Americans that Biden rescued? I haven't seen a single American rescued by Biden on television. And here we are, like 3 days into this, I haven't either. Have you? Have you seen one American family on television being interviewed in a sit-down somewhere who said, "Thank you, Joe Biden, you saved me and my family and rescued us"? I haven't seen it. Now, I'm not saying that it doesn't exist, that these people don't exist, but they're being hidden because what they say to the media won't fit the narrative that the Democrats and the mainstream media want. Because they're going to be just as upset that these Americans were left behind as the rest of us are. And the media are covering up. They don't want these people on TV. This is unheard of. And, you know, there's U.S. officials that work for the State Department and other things. None of these people have been on television. Biden and this White House and the State Department and the military are really being hit hard in these press conferences about Afghanistan. And there's a very negative media narrative out there. If they could get just one or two, one would be enough. Two would be spectacular. Americans, and I don't mean like immigrants that have accents that are Afghan. I'm talking about, you know, a natural-born American who would come out with Jen Psaki, come out with Biden, come out with George Stephanopoulos, go with the coven over there on The View and sit down and say, "I want to thank Joe Biden. I am here today and alive because he rescued me from Afghanistan." And we haven't seen that. And they're not going to be able to cover that up forever. They can do it now, but they're not going to be able to cover it up forever. There will be people that come out and they're going to tell us how terrible it was. We're hearing from people that are trapped over there, but no one that's been rescued. No Americans. And yeah, I know. And here we are. I'll keep looking for it. And I know you guys will too. And on top of that, the Taliban and the other terrorists over there are going to continue to act out week after week. It's only a matter of time before they do something like they were executing people using our Black Hawk helicopters the other day. They'll pull more stunts like that, and they'll put it out online and people will see it. So they can try to talk about the weather that no one cares about, that's not negatively affected by. Like, I'll tell you, Fox spent way too much time. I like John Schneider. You know John Schneider. John Schneider's home got hit, you know, and the General Lee got destroyed, and you know, in his front yard a tree fell on the General Lee. And I'm a fan of John Schneider. I was a kid and loved when Dukes of Hazzard was on and thought it was the best show on television at the time. That, you know, although that show would never make it today. Oh my goodness. But I tried to watch the interviews with John Schneider because there's one thing I wanted to know, and I couldn't listen long enough to get to the question. Was the General Lee that got destroyed a replica, or was it an actual screen-used General Lee from the television show? I just couldn't care with everything that's going on in the world, and that was Fox. No one cares about John Schneider's General Lee or the hurricane or the water in the hallway. They want to know about Afghanistan, our MIAs, missing in Afghanistan, and these things. Everything else is a distraction. Let me take a break. When we get back, there's more to share. I'm Brian. You're listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. It's a toll-free call from anywhere, 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
Have we protected you and your family from financial ruin? You are invited to attend Attorney Barry Siegel's free estate planning workshop. Make sure you and your family are properly protected, even if you already have a trust. Learn how to avoid losing an inheritance to predators, like divorcing spouses, lawsuits, creditors, government agencies, and the IRS. Learn how to prevent running out of money before you run out of life. Learn how to avoid being forced to spend down your assets. Learn how to avoid nursing home seizure of your assets. His free workshop with Attorney Barry Siegel is Tuesday, September 14th at 10 a.m. at the South County Civic Center in Delray. Seating is limited, so reserve your seat for this free estate planning workshop and call 1-855-FLA-ESTATE. That's 855-352-3782. 855-352-3782.
Attention seniors and those who care about them. This is Brian Craig. I'm in studio with Debbie from I Will Advisors. She has an incredible new service to tell you about called I Will Advocates. Debbie, what is I Will Advocates and how are you helping seniors?
Well, Brian, over the past few years of owning a Medicare insurance agency, we've learned that there's a huge need for Medicare advocacy, that a lot of people don't have a child or a spouse that can assist them with their medical needs, and that's where we step in.
There's a lot of things that seniors need help with. Prescriptions, doctor's appointments, things like this. How do you help them with that?
If you're having a problem at the doctor's office, having problems scheduling an appointment in a timely manner, we can step in. If you're having issues at the pharmacy, having problems refilling a prescription or feel that you're being mischarged for something, you can contact us and we will step in. Even if you're at the hospital and you feel like you're being neglected, we'll be there for you at a touch of a button, whether it's to call the nurse's station or assist in any other way.
So if someone's in the hospital, they feel they're not getting the care that they need, they haven't seen their doctor, they haven't seen their nurse, they can actually call you and you'll contact the hospital for them?
Absolutely. We act as your family. We'll step up, we'll call the nurse's station and ask for some assistance. If we can't get anything done there, we'll go to the higher levels.
Now, this is a service that you're offering. Now, they do not have to be an existing client of I Will Advisors to take advantage of this, right?
Oh, of course not. No, we're here for any Medicare client. We can assist in any way. We don't need to be your insurance agent. We're just here to help you with your medical needs.
This is an incredible opportunity for those of you who are Medicare recipients. Debbie at I Will Advocates will help you with your prescriptions. You'll set up doctor's appointments for them, including the primary care physician and specialist, right?
Of course. We'll assist in anything helping you find new doctors.
They'll help you with your medical billing. They'll help you with your insurance billing. If you feel you've been billed wrong by your doctor, they'll step in for that and even help you if you're in the hospital. Basically, what you're offering is a concierge service to senior citizens.
That's exactly it.
That's amazing. I've never heard of anything like this before. So how much does this cost?
Well, for just $20 a month, you will have the security of knowing that you have an experienced, compassionate advocate just a touch of a button away.
To learn more, call Debbie's office. The number 954-345-1214. 954-345-1214. Or go online. You can sign up online at iwilladvocates.com. That's iwilladvocates.com.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
Alrighty, welcome back. 38 minutes after 7. I'm Brian. Steve Kane will be joining us after the next break. So they're doing everything they can do to keep Afghanistan and this corrupt president out of the news. And, I was talking earlier, today the shaman Viking will be in the federal court. He's made a plea deal. He's going to plead guilty. We don't know what to yet. I'm hoping this happens around 10 o'clock this morning. But the reason, all of us, this is, what did Joe Biden say? This is a big effing deal, man. Remember but he said the whole word. I'm not going to say the whole word. Biden did. On TV to Obama when Obamacare was being signed by him. But the Viking shaman is the face of the Capitol breach. When he pleads guilty today, it will not be to insurrection. Insurrection, that's a long stretch in jail. He wouldn't be pleading to insurrection. He'd go and fight that. So when they have the guy who's the face of the breach, and he pleads guilty to a plea agreement federal prosecutors have made, and it's not insurrection, how can you, and there still hasn't been one insurrection charge, how can you have an insurrection without insurrectionist? If you got an answer to that, I'd love to know. But the reason that this is happening today, all of a sudden, they made a plea deal with the shaman, the Viking, the face of the breach. Why? To try and get Afghanistan and Biden's phone call and the failures out of the news cycle. Everything that has happened since the fall of Afghanistan began, everything that the White House has done is to every day try to do something to change the media narrative. They tried to pick a fight with Governor DeSantis. This is the latest one. And we'll talk about it, but we're always monitoring the situation in Afghanistan. Always monitoring it. Never let it get out of sight. And that phone call, we talked about it for the whole show yesterday. That's not going anywhere. The Republicans have asked for the full transcript. Reuters has the audio, and it will be released. It's only a matter of time. I don't know if I want it released this weekend because this is basically a 4-day weekend, right? Today begins the holiday. A lot of people. How many of you are off work already? All right, so we don't want it to happen although if it happens over a holiday, it's not, it still would be big news, and we would make sure of it. Okay? But it is going to come out. It is definitely going to come out. And, the January 6th hearings are going to start again after Labor Day, and they're going to continue to call it an insurrection, although no one's been charged with it. And now the Freedom Caucus. Now, the Freedom Caucus used to be the Tea Party. Remember the Tea Party? They changed their name. They're now the Freedom Caucus. Now, this is something I have been calling for a long, long time. Members of the Republican Freedom Caucus in the House of Representatives want the Republican Party to boot Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger. The reason? Cheney and Kinzinger have shown more loyalty to Pelosi in the last 6 months than to Republican voters who put them in office. And it goes on. The time for this has been long coming. And I don't mean just them. We need to have a process in the party where you can excommunicate members of it. They should have done this 30 years ago. David Duke, publicity whore, was looking for publicity. He ran for the state house in Louisiana. He registered as a Republican and ran as a Republican. So that they go, oh, look, the party of David Duke. Well, we should have the ability to toss somebody out of the party. You just can't come to a party without an invite. And Liz Cheney, Kinzinger have no business being in the Republican Party. And you know what? Either does Mitt Romney. Or Mitch McConnell, for that matter. But this has been a technique the Democrats have used against the Republicans always. They get some jerk in the Republican Party, someone who is a racist or is some bad person, and then they define the whole party by it. And Liz Cheney, she's committed treason against the party. Not against the country necessarily, but against the party. She should be out. No question about it. She should be out. And I don't know if this is going to go anywhere because the Republican leadership are a bunch of two-faced anti-Trump people. Okay? Mitch McConnell, who doesn't think anything should be done to Biden over this phone call. And, and Kevin McCarthy, who used to live with Frank Luntz, okay? Who always plays both sides of everything. But I'm glad this has come up with the Freedom Caucus because they may not win it now, but down the road, it's been reported that Donald Trump is going to announce any day that he's running for president in 2024. It's been reported, and it's actually been confirmed by a second source that President Trump is going to announce he's running in 2024 very, very soon. Okay, and when Trump's back in 2024, this excommunicating people from the party is definitely going to be the way of the future. It's got to be. We can't have people like Liz Cheney screwing things up for us. All right, we're going to take our last break of the second hour of the program. It's 7:45. When we get back, Steve Kane will be joining us. Our number 1-888-GO-KANE-1. 888-465-2631. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. We'll be right back after this. Don't go anywhere.
Hi, my name is Tom Laporta, the owner of Laporta Contracting, Roofing, and Restoration. We have been in the roofing and construction industry since 1982. We are state of Florida certified roofing and general contractors focusing on residential and commercial roofing, impact windows, and building restoration. The 2021 hurricane season is upon us. If you have noticed any water stains on your ceiling, or if your roof is older than 15 years, you will want to call us to come out and evaluate your roof. Our services run from minor repairs to complete new roof systems. We install every kind of roof, from regular asphalt shingles, clay or concrete tiles, standing metal seam, wood shakes, and slate tile systems. Call us at 954-604-4602 for a free home inspection and estimate. Again, that number is 954-604-4602.
I want to tell everyone, we lost our friend last weekend, Richard Pearl. And it's amazing that, Steve, I'm still hearing from people who are just finding out. People are in shock over this. And I want to let everyone know that have been contacting us, what can you do? What can you do? Richard Pearl's store, Simply Natural, is still open for business. They're open 7 days a week. And the best thing you can do is to continue to support Richard Pearl's store, Simply Natural. His family work there, and the workers that aren't family, they're pretty close to it. They've been working for Richard Pearl at that store for 25 years. Everyone over there is an expert in the area of nutraceuticals, trained by Richard Pearl, and are able to help you. And those of you out of town, you can order by phone. If you can't make it into Simply Natural in person in Sunrise, give them a call. If you're out of town, or maybe you're in town and you can't make it to Sunrise, I get it. Call them, okay, between 11 a.m. and 9 p.m., 7 days a week, that's their hours. They'll ship to you anywhere. The number is 954-741-4045. 954-741-4045. If you've missed that number, it's listed at SteveKaneShow.com. If you can stop in person, that's great too. They're located in Sunrise, just north of Sunset Strip, on the east side of University Drive, in the shopping center where the IHOP is. All right, that's Simply Natural. And when you stop in, make sure you tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for it.
All right, we are back 47 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian. Steve joining us. You with us, Steve? Well, no, Steve is not there. Not there. All right, I just got the message he was ready. I don't know. Let me send a message back. All right, okay. All right, got you on, but you're not coming in. Can't hear you. Nope, don't know what's going on. All right, we'll try to connect. Oh my goodness. All right, well, welcome back, everyone. Steve is not with us yet, but he'll be with us shortly, I'm sure. Okay, there was a story. We didn't talk about this because everything that's been going on in Afghanistan, but there was an update, and this is I would say a very important update. You with us yet, Steve? Nope, still not there. Okay. This is a very, very important update, and the update is this. The Project Veritas, who does very, very good work, they expose a lot of things, but they don't get the press coverage they used to. Project Veritas exposed this California Antifa teacher that had the communist hammer and sickle tattooed on his chest. It was crazy. And a lot of people, they saw that story and they said to themselves, big deal, lefty school teacher. School teachers for many, many years have leaned to the left, but the new generation of school teacher is not that. What they've become now is very open, militant activists who feel duty-bound to turn their kids against their parents and brainwash them. You hear teachers talk about their kids. They're not their kids. They're their students, but not their kids. But they think they're their kids, and they think they have a duty to bring. And when Obama was president is when this really started. These younger school teachers are the Obama generation. They were in middle school, high school, maybe college when Obama was around, and they've been brainwashed by that type of thinking. And if you remember, you would hear Democrats under Obama telling kids to talk to your parents. You know what's best. You're smarter than your parents. You see the world in a different way. Your parents are old and set in their ways, and you, as their children, are to set them straight. Remember that talk during Obama? Well, this Antifa teacher that was ousted in California, a mother who is an African-American woman. She has a 17-year-old daughter who was in his classroom. And she went to the local school board and she talked about what he did to her daughter. And this is getting a lot of play online. I don't know how much television play it's getting. Hold on, I'm told, Steve, you with us now, Steve? Okay, good. I couldn't hear you. Your mic was muted on your end. It was muted. You had the mute button thing. If that happens again. Okay, so let me finish. So anyway, this Antifa school teacher that was outed by Project Veritas, who's since been fired, People wonder, well, who hired this guy? He's covered in Marxist tattoos. You know what I mean? So, they got a sell going on. So this African-American woman who has a 17-year-old daughter that was in his classroom went to the school board this week and talked to the school board about what this Antifa school teacher did to her daughter, and she's pissed. Listen to this. This is the fed-up mom who had the Antifa communist teacher, and she's going to talk about how he changed her daughter in just a very short period of time this school year. Listen.
As her parent is to protect her from anybody that has ill will towards her. So being that this is her first year at this high school that is world renowned and everybody knows about this school, it's so perfect and everybody does everything right. The first time my daughter tells me, and she goes against my wishes to come out of a classroom that's disruptive to her well-being, I have an issue.
Okay, so now she's going to get into more detail what she's talking about. Now, this is the guy, her daughter's teacher was the guy that Project Veritas outed, the Antifa teacher. For the first time ever, her daughter didn't go along with what she wanted her to do in school. She was, for the very first time, defying her after she was in his classroom. And she's going to get a little more specific.
Very articulate. My children are very well read. They speak their opinion. They make sure that they are clear in what they do and do not like. And for the fact that my 17-year-old daughter had to come to me and said, "Mom, you don't understand. Let me explain." This means that in 2 weeks, in 13 days, he was allowed to change my daughter's mind about some fascist crap that y'all have let in this school.
Yeah, and she goes on. So just 13 days in his classroom, and "Mom, you don't understand. Let me explain." See, they got these Antifa teachers, and they're trying to turn your kids into the Hitler Youth. And this guy was outed. Okay, he's been fired. But who hired him? And how many others are in that school and in that school district? And this guy had so many Antifa communist tattoos on his body. He had as many tattoos as a guy in a motorcycle gang from Sons of Anarchy, but they were all like communist symbols, and so he didn't get hired without them knowing what he was all about. So Project Veritas has done some good work there. All right, good morning, Steve. So what's going on with you?
Sitting here going through my notes at the end of what has been a wild week. And
oh, yeah.
I want to remind everybody, we will on the air on Monday.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Because Brian came to me.
That is not true. That is not true. You told me the day before I said, "Steve, we should take off on Monday," and you said, no.
To cover for you here. And
I don't know. You're trying to cover for yourself. I will be here under duress on Monday.
But as you pointed out, who knows what will be released this week?
And it could be nothing.
Could be, but we are going to, if we're going to make a mistake, it's going to be on the side of turning the light of truth on what's going on.
Yeah.
Who knows what they'll try to pass.
Yeah.
Or sneak past the press.
Yeah.
But anyway, you Steve Kane listeners and Brian Craig listeners.
Oh, yeah.
Will not miss a thing.
Yeah.
Well, I have a couple notes here, just finishing up the week. I've been watching a lot of news, actually. Those in my family closest to me are telling me that for my mental health, I ought to not be watching so much Fox, and it is pretty much all Fox that I'm kind of.
Well, you're not on Newsmax anymore? No Newsmax?
To tell you the truth, Fox just has too many people that are too good, and I've just basically the preponderance of my time is spent on Fox. Now,
all right.
I'll tell you again. Speaking about everybody has different viewing habits. I'm very intensive from the time I get off the air until, say, 3 in the afternoon when I think Hannity comes on the radio. does an unbelievable job. They've got a block. It's pretty much, it seems like pretty much an almost all female block.
Oh, now we know why you're watching it. The females.
No. Of course, Laura Logan, because we got a whole bunch of great activists, ticked off women.
Yeah.
And they occupy that whole block in midday. Those of you who watch television, Fox the place to go, and they zoom right in on the key things, like Afghanistan.
Well, yeah.
They'll spend the whole show talking about it. And they hit all the key points. The points that the media tries to gloss over, Fox is right in the middle of it. And I recommend them highly. Another thing, big shakeup since Rush Limbaugh. Boy, don't you miss Rush. Yeah, he was, his perspectives were fascinating, and he gave everything a kind of a fresh feel about it, and he told it like it was. But anyway, big shakeup in the market, you know that. That's one of the reasons, to be frank with you, that we're going to be working on Monday, because there are a lot of talk listeners up for grabs since Rush passed on. And we want to make sure we're here to service anybody who needs servicing. And a lot of people are, some have landed on shows that they, switched from Rush to, and other Bongino. There are 3 new people in the afternoon. What help me here, Brian?
Well, you're not talking about Buck Sexton and Clay Aiken.
I'm intermingling radio and television.
Yeah, I know, but you're not talking about these so-called Rush replacements, this duo they have. You're not including them. They suck. I've tried them. They suck.
Really, I want to be fair, and I haven't said anything because I want to kind of listen to more of them.
I think they're awful.
As flattering a way as I can, they are at best really mediocre.
Oh yeah.
Really mediocre.
Well, the one guy comes from sports, and I'm sure he's very good at that. But when it comes to talking about politics, it's like listening to a high school kid. He doesn't have any understanding of anything. And Buck Sexton, I don't trust anyone who comes from the intelligence community, which he comes from.
Well, don't say that, because Bongino comes.
Well, he was a federal agent. He wasn't like CIA.
Opened up on the air last weekend a little bit, and revealed more of his background and more of his experience, and he was really into it.
Talking about himself?
Money wasn't the kind of stuff that Hannity does, that it's all about me. No, it wasn't that. He showed flashes of, from what he said, you could see where his experience really was relevant to what was happening, and he tied it together beautifully. He did a great job. I'm really impressed with the new lot of hosts that are out now. Bongino is by far the best, and the others are very average. That's my...
Well, the Buck Sexton and Clay Aiken, they are mediocre at best, well below average.
I don't know if it's Buck or Clay or which one it is, but one of them really needs to get a hairstylist. The hairdo they have.
Well, on the radio, that doesn't matter too much. Oh, you see them on TV too? Yeah. They're on Fox a lot.
Yeah, they're trying to promote them on Fox. And these guys, in the long run, are not going to be no major stars there. Bongino, on the other hand, I'd be curious what some of the opinions of our audience are on the new lot.
Well, what you don't... okay, I like Bongino. Don't misunderstand me with Bongino, okay? I like Bongino. But what's missing that rut... that cord is like really making noise. what's missing with Rush that you would get with Rush is analysis. What you get with these other guys, and this is somewhat true of Bongino, although he's very good, is you basically just get a headline. All right? You know, like, Antifa teacher in a classroom, what do you think? How can we let this happen? You know what I mean? It's like talking, and even Bongino, and as much as I like Bongino, and he's spot on, I like Bongino, but there's no deep, he's not very deep, there's not much analysis.
I disagree after listening to him last weekend. He's never displayed before, and I think he has great ability to expand.
And they have him stretched too thin. He's doing 3 hours of radio. He's got a podcast. He's got the TV show. And then he's guesting on TV all day. He's stretched too thin, and he's like physically, he's just exhausted. Now listen, we got to take our break. It's 8:01. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll take some calls after the break. I'm Brian. Steve is here. I will, but you know, it's the holiday has already begun. It's a 4-day weekend for most of the community. Our number 1-888-GO-CANE1. It's a toll-free call from anywhere. 1-888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
We've got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Stop paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate.
Steve Kane Show.
Major brands like Goodyear and
Hey, Joe.
Firestone at discount prices and absolutely can't be beat. Steve Kane's tires for his Toyota van at the other shops, $175 a tire. At Friendly Tire, just $75 a tire. That's a $100 savings per tire. Tires for my daughter Emily's car, $135 at the shops around town. The price at Friendly Tire, only $65. That's a $70 savings per tire. These prices are...
I'm not losing hair. I'm 50. I haven't lost a hair. I haven't lost a single hair on my head.
Friendly Tire have a great selection of good used tires too, starting at just $30 for most cars. Call my good buddy Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire. Tell him what you drive, and he will give you a great low price right over the phone.
Yeah, I think Bongino. I like Bongino, but he sounds like he drinks a Red Bull during every commercial break.
This is Lori Kane, and
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you about Brighton Dental Care. I just had a lot of work done, and I avoided going to the dentist for a lot of years because I was afraid of the cost. But I went to Brighton Dental for my free consultation, which, by the way, he offers to all Steve Kane listeners. I had 2 cavities, I needed a crown on top and a crown on the bottom. If I were a horse, they would have put me down. So I scheduled my appointment for the next Saturday because Brighton Dental has Saturday appointments available, and they saved me a ton of money. And I will be a patient for life. Don't let cost stop you from taking care of your teeth. Brighton Dental gives Steve Kane listeners incredible discounts on all dental procedures, just like they gave me. Prices are so reasonable, you don't have to worry about the cost. So call Brighton Dental today at 954-92.
Well, no one in my family has ever lost hair, but someone told me, like when I was in high school, that if you wear ball caps, it'll cause a receded hairline. I never wore hats when I was young. Never. So maybe that's why.
Have you protected you and your family from financial ruin? You are invited to attend Attorney Barry Siegel's free estate planning workshop. Make sure you and
Not bad for not getting any sleep. Been up since 1 o'clock in the morning with my sick dog. I was so pissed at the dog this morning. I was like, are you kidding me? And I'm the kind of guy, once I wake up, you know, and I got to go outside with the dog for like 45 minutes, how am I going back to bed when I got to get up at 3:30? It's ridiculous.
learn how to avoid nursing home seizure of your assets. His free workshop with Attorney Barry Siegel is Tuesday, September 14th at 10 a.m. at the South County Civic Center in Delray. Seating is limited, so reserve your seat for this free estate planning workshop and call 1-855-FLA-ESTATE. That's 855-352-3782.
Yeah, it should be okay. You know what happened? We had fried chicken for dinner, and she got in the garbage and ate what was left of it, and it made her sick.
The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll free, dial 1-888-GO-CANE-1. That's 1-888-GO-CANE-1. And now, here's Steve.
I know, it's a lot of fun. All right, third hour has begun. You know, I was talking to the people in the chat room during the break. We have a live chat room on YouTube, which you guys should take part in. But I was telling them during the break, I said I'm 50, and some of the people that are new listeners were very surprised to hear that I'm 50 years old. One said I look 30. Thank you very much. But the secret is very simple. It's Dr. Mitch Matez over at the Bio Station, where you're going to be paying a visit on Thursday. Now, the Bio Station, which is where Dr. Matez's new office is in Delray, and he has the most beautiful, high-tech, cool office I've ever seen. It's an amazing office, but you want to talk to him about hormone replacement pellet therapy. Hormone replacement pellet therapy is completely 100% all natural, and what it does is it restores your hormones to where they were when you were in your mid-20s. This is for both men and women. You will feel younger, you will look younger, both men and women, your sex drive will be restored. You'll find that you have better body tone. And I've met many listeners over the years, before and after they became patients of Dr. Mitch Matez. And some of these guys, I would see them, and they're walking around like Biden, scooting their feet. Oh, I've been listening to you on the radio for 5 years. And then I'll meet them, a few months later, and they'll walk in and they'll, hi, I'm John. Nice to meet you again, Brian. And sometimes I'll say to them, You're Dr. Matez's patient, aren't you? And they'll say, how do you know? And I'll say, because last time you were walking around like Biden, now you're like, hey, Hormone replacement pellet therapy is a miracle. It's the secret to my youth and energy levels. I've been up since 1 o'clock in the morning because of my sick dog, and here we are. And in women, hormone replacement pellet therapy does a miracle for women too. In women, it completely stops and reverses all the signs and symptoms of menopause. Night sweats, gone. Mood swings, gone. Vaginal dryness, gone and reversed, if you get my drift on what that means. And your sex drive is restored too, ladies. And if you're a listener of the Steve Kane Radio Show, it's a completely free consultation with Dr. Mitch Matez. So give him a call over at the Bio Station, 561-320-8893. 561-320-8893. Talk to him about hormone replacement pellet therapy. All right, you want to go to the phone, Steve? All right, let's go. You're on the radio. What's your name?
Hi, Joelle. I'm from Fort Lauderdale. Lots of things to talk about.
Steve Kane Show.
A lot of important things to talk
Steve
about,
Kane
but
Show.
about Buck Sexton,
Hold
that
on.
show does, I can't, it's very hard to listen to them. Clay Travis, I think, really is the one that carries the show. Buck Sexton is,
Well, the Clay Travis, I call him Clay Aiken just to ridicule. Clay Aiken is the gay guy with the smelly feet from American Idol. Clay Travis, I've seen him as a guest, and they usually have him on talking about things in sports that involve politics. And when it comes to sports, he's very good and spot on. But sports talk is not talk radio, okay? And AM issue-oriented talk radio is an art form. And when you take someone from sports, like, I know Rush came from sports, but that's a different thing. You take someone from sports talk, it's like taking somebody from an FM morning show and say, okay, you're going to talk about the issues. He doesn't know what, if you put me on, I can do talk. You put me on sports talk, I can read up on what's in the news that day, but I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I sound like an idiot. That's what is going on with him. And the other guy, Buck Sexton, who came up through Glenn Beck, I've seen him. He's a very good guest, but he's not a host.
Yeah, definitely not. It's very hard to listen to him. And again, a never Trumper. He was the one that had that blonde woman on all the time on his show. So
Wait. Who? Buck Sexton? What blonde woman? Oh, you talking about Ann Coulter?
Yes. He had her on a lot on his direct.
Ann Coulter is still trashing Trump. She's trashing Trump this week.
Oh, I haven't heard her, but he is a never Trumper, and
I did not know that. Buck Sexton was a never Trumper. Oh, I did not know that.
Who is it? What did you say?
Buck Sexton was a never Trumper.
I feel like he is. Some of the things he said on his show, 9 to 12, did radio by himself. And obviously, if he had Ann Coulter on there all the time, why would he have her on as a guest?
Yeah.
The other thing is, I would be interested in finding out what the ratings are these days. How his how they stand, versus when Rush was around.
It takes longer than this. I mean, you're going to have to wait about a full year till the dust really settles and you get a clear picture.
Well, and they're not on all this. Bongino's on a small number of the Rush stations. They're on a whole bunch of them, but yeah.
Bongino, I can listen to him so much, but sometimes, I just can't listen to him. Sometimes he's good, sometimes,
I like him, but he sounds like he drinks a Red Bull during every commercial break, and there's just no deep analysis. It's very simplistic. I like him, though. I don't want people to misunderstand me, but I do like him.
He's better on the TV.
Well, here's the deal. Sometimes people are very good in short, brief segments on television. Okay, doing a 3-hour radio show is not easy, and interacting with, I've listened to Dan Bongino's podcast for a long time. His podcast is better than the radio show because a podcast is it's not interactive as much as radio, and you can stop a podcast you can stop a podcast when you're out of things to talk about. You can stop a podcast when you screw up and then finish later. 3 hours straight is too much for him.
The last thing is about your dog. Is he constipated or does he have the other thing?
My dog, what happened with my dog that's had me up since 1 a.m. is we had fried chicken for dinner, and she feasted on the bones in the garbage, apparently, and woke me up at 1 a.m. Yeah.
You never give a dog bones.
We didn't give her bones. She went into the garbage.
Oh.
Yeah, I wouldn't give my dog chicken bones. And it made her sick.
Sure, for the if they're constipated, a little bit of mirror.
Oh no, she's got the opposite problem. Is I spend half the morning on my hands and knees on the floor cleaning up.
Yeah.
It was a wonderful morning before I came in. I wish I had a long weekend to relax, but
I work at gym on Monday, so.
Yeah, you're working on Monday? What do you do?
I'm just a porter at a condominium.
Oh, okay.
Palm Beach Island.
Okay. Oh, Palm Beach Island. Excuse me.
Of course, it's right down the street from Trump.
By Mar-a-Lago. Yeah.
What they're doing there these days, it's all torn up.
They were waiting for him. They couldn't. They're doing some work down the street from Mar-a-Lago that they could not do while he was president because of the security. They're building a new bridge right next to Mar-a-Lago, over the Intercoastal Waterway.
Around the perimeter of the building, the landscaping, they took out all these trees.
I don't know. All right, take care. Don Jr. lives across the street from Mar-a-Lago on the beach side, and Tucker Carlson and Sean Hannity and Neil Cavuto live next door to Mar-a-Lago too. They all bought houses over there. Good morning. You're on the radio. Good morning, caller. Once, twice. All right, he's not there. I meant to mention this on the show yesterday, and I was listening to the overnight rebroadcast on the way in today, and I was talking about the liberal trolls, the fake Republicans that call in, and Steve, I'm only telling. Steve and I are not in the same studio, so we can't come in. You're breathing too close to the mic. I was trying to. Okay. We can't see each other or talk during breaks or anything. Yeah. Okay. I'm not. I'm moving on. You're dragging it out. But we get these. We've been getting these fake Republicans calling in a lot lately. Quite a few actually have been calling in the last few weeks. And if you notice with the fake Republican callers, they have two things in common, all of the fake Republicans, which shows you that these are seminar callers that the Democrats are sending out to talk shows. One, they're all from Kentucky. Every one of them's from Kentucky, and they all have a fake accent. Hey, now I'm Johnny from Kentucky, and I'm a big MAGA guy, and then they get on and say some liberal crap. Kentucky is like their go-to place, but I have noticed, and I'm not exaggerating, when we get a call and they're from Kentucky or they have the southern accent, as a guy with the southern accent, I'm like, already I'm on, okay, this guy, And I've noticed the seminar caller thing is a phenomena that went away for a long time. But I've noticed in the past month to 6 weeks, the seminar callers are back. Well, we'll tell. Seminar callers are fake callers that the Democrats put up to call talk shows, and because they're seminar callers because they have talking points that are rehearsed scripts and places to go, and I know it's a very concentrated effort at the Democrats, not just because they're back, but that they're all from Kentucky and have fake accents. And what they do is they try to get you to say something that you're not supposed to say, and I can't tell you what it is that they do, but they all try. They don't know who they're dealing with. I guess these are new hires. They may not know us. They know us now, but they start out all from Kentucky, Southern accent, and then they'll say a thing or two that sounds like a maggot, and then all of a sudden they'll say something to move it towards the breach issue. They'll say something that you're not supposed to say publicly. You know what I mean? To try to get you to go in a direction. And the seminar callers being back, and it's not just here. I listen to a lot of other talk radio, and I've noticed seminar callers are back all over the radio dial, Steve. That, to me, they're in a panic. The Democrats. The seminar callers coming back, they're in a panic. The old seminar callers were different. The old seminar callers were not all from Kentucky with this Southern accent. So they've got this stereotype of MAGA people, right? We're all from Kentucky and we all have Southern accents. But they want to sound blue collar, but they can't play it off because the reason they can't play it off is because they only have a stereotype of what they think a conservative is, and it falls apart pretty easily and pretty fast. But for the seminar callers to be back all over talk radio tells me that the Democrats are in a panic and they're desperate to try to get some messaging out. That they've just totally lost control of the narrative on every issue. And for them to lose the narrative is pretty amazing. They control the majority. Like I was talking earlier, that story we did the whole show on yesterday, on the phone call between Biden and the Afghan president. It was mentioned on Fox a little bit. I was surprised how little coverage it got on Fox. But then it disappeared. But for the on the other news outlets, the network news at night, and on the other cable news outlets, CNN and the rest, not one mention. One of the media groups have been monitoring. Not one mention yesterday of the phone call. And so the media that was against Biden on Afghanistan are starting to pivot back. Now listen, we're going to take our break. Okay, when we get back, we'll take some more calls. We got some more topics to touch on as well. I'm Brian. Steve Kane is here. Our number toll free 1-888-GO-KANE 1-888-465-2631. We'll be back right after this.
Hi, Brian Craig here. I'm in studio with my wife Kathy, and she's here to tell you about
Steve Kane Show. Hey Barry, hold on.
I was waking up in pain almost every morning for years and years, and we had bought a new mattress not that long ago, but it still was not doing the trick. So I said to you, let's get the MyPillow mattress topper and let's see if it helps.
No one give out addresses in here. I just noticed somebody said, don't give out any addresses for me. Don't any time someone asks you for that kind of information, do not give it out, and don't ask for it. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, Nikki, I'm going to keep my eye on you. People online that ask for personal information like that, don't trust them. All right, it's a holiday weekend, but a week from Tuesday is the big day. That's Attorney Barry Siegel's Living Trust Estate Planning Workshop. Hey, Barry, how's it going? Doing all? Any big plans for Labor Day weekend?
Yeah, just gonna spend some time with some family and
Also, we have Rosh Hashanah coming up.
Yeah, Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great holidays, and anyway, today I wanted to just talk about, like if you can imagine if God forbid your spouse needed care and you didn't have long-term care, sufficient long-term care, and
do not tell that person anything about where I'm at.
Otherwise been available, except your estate planning documents did not support your effort to become eligible for Medicaid. And that can happen. If somebody doesn't have their mental capacity and their income is too high, if they are not able to sign what we call a qualified income trust and their power of attorney is not sufficient, they could end up being in a position where Medicaid will not be available and they'll have to spend down their assets. So the estate plan is not just designed to leave your assets to your loved ones, it also can support your efforts to protect your assets during your lifetime. And that's why it's so important to make sure your estate plan has all of the language in it that you need.
Oh, this is interesting. So let me ask you this, Barry. So when someone comes to you, you're putting together their estate documents, the revocable living trust. Do you set things up for Medicaid planning like pre-need, like in advance? Oh.
In all of our estate plans, we do put language in, and specifically what I was talking about this morning, the power of attorney, that can make the difference between qualifying and not qualifying potentially, depending on the situation. So, yeah, but part of the estate plan is also Medicaid pre-planning.
I did not realize that. I thought people came to you for that at need. But actually, that's the worst time. You want to do it before. So you hear that? That was new. See what I tell you about Attorney Barry Siegel's workshops? I talk to Barry all the time for years and years and years, and still, I'm always picking up something that I didn't know before. That's why I got to call Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Listen, Barry's number at his office. If you're going to the workshop a week from Tuesday, and you definitely should, they ask that you make a reservation because they need to know how many people are going to be there and the size room and everything that they'll need. The number is toll-free, 855-FLA-3782, 855-FLA-3782, and online, SiegelLawGroup.com. Yeah, well, with the holiday on Tuesday, I guess we'll talk to you Wednesday next week, Barry.
All right.
Well, we will be here Tuesday if you want to call in, but if you can't because of the holiday, we'll talk on Wednesday.
Okay, excellent.
All right.
Great holidays. You too. And we'll be in touch next week.
All right. Take care. All right. Attorney Barry Siegel, give him a call. I tell you, it's like every other day is a Jewish holiday. If you're Orthodox, it's like the holidays are the days where there aren't holidays. It's amazing. It's difficult. All right. Welcome back, guys. A lot happening, though. I'll tell you. I was talking earlier, Steve. Jen Psaki had a meltdown yesterday in the press briefing. And I wanted to play this exchange again. To me, it sounds like the reporter hit a little close to home for her, and she kind of made an admission. This is, now, yesterday, the reporter is asking about the Texas heartbeat bill, no abortion after, I guess it's 6 weeks there's a heartbeat, so no abortion after 6 weeks. Supreme Court wouldn't hear the case, which means it's going to stand, which is a big, massive move in the pro-life movement. I mean, that's probably the biggest pro-life victory maybe ever.
Babies.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know, Steve, if the pro-life movement has had a victory at that level ever. That's a pretty big deal, the heartbeat bill.
This was, I don't know, one of a kind, but I mean, it stands out.
It's the biggest pro-life thing, and I'll tell you, because usually when I first heard about it, I even thought to myself, they'll go to some Obama judge, go to the court, and it'll be tossed out. I'm surprised Supreme Court wouldn't hear it, but we might have some creeps that some of which Trump appointed, but they're pro-life conservatives, most of them Catholic. But anyway, here's the exchange. Psaki is asked by a reporter about the ruling, and she really has a meltdown.
Following up on the Texas law, why does the president support abortion when his own Catholic faith teaches abortion is morally wrong?
He believes that it's a woman's right, it's a woman's body, and it's her choice.
Why does the president, who does he believe that should look out for the unborn child?
He believes that it's up to a woman to make those decisions, and up to a woman to make those decisions with her doctor. I know you...
Now, all of a sudden, it's interesting. The White House has changed decisions. Medical decisions are between you and your doctor all of a sudden, even though for the past year and a half, they've been mandating medical decisions for everyone, but not on this one, right? I think she slipped into that talking point, but she goes on.
He believes that it's up to a woman to make those decisions, and up to a woman to make those decisions with her doctor. I know you've never faced those choices, nor have you ever been pregnant, but for women out there who have faced those choices, this is an incredibly difficult thing. The president believes their rights should be respected. Go ahead. I think we got to move on. I think we have to move on. You've had plenty of time today.
It sounds like a sore subject with her.
Which is revealing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And, you know, I was talking to a caller about this earlier. If she really felt about abortion the way she claims, I don't think she would be so sensitive to it. Because if what we're thinking is true, there's guilt in there. There's shame. She feels bad about it. If
guilt promotes anger.
Yeah. And you know, I was watching that, and if you guys have seen the video, her body, that was not the normal Jen Psaki. Not that she's normally pleasant, but she was very, I mean, he really pushed a button with her. I've seen her snarky and nasty and judgmental. I've never seen her snap before. And she snapped.
Make you wonder if, when it's over, and they're thinking back over the show, if she realizes how revealing that moment is to people, not to everybody obviously, but to people who are tuned in and understand the mechanics of how this pro-life issue.
Yeah. I don't think so, because I don't think anyone but the two of us would bring this up publicly. I promise you, Clay Travis and Buck Sexton, it wouldn't even occur to them. But I don't think, yeah.
The thing that happened, I don't even know if you were with me. It was the early days with Shirley Peters. We were doing a show on abortion. Now, this was definitely prior to you joining the team. And we did she was a feminist, Shirley Peters. Not her real name, but she was the station liberal woman.
Wasn't she gay?
I don't want to.
I don't know. I didn't know her. I don't know.
Yeah, no, she's a nice lady, Shirley, but she's a hardcore
Steve Kane Show.
Militant feminist, along with everything that goes with it. And that was when we had the Baby Precious. The pro-life people supplied us with how old was Baby Precious?
Well, there were two Baby Precious. There was this one you're talking about, and then there was the one I had later, which I'll tell people about in a moment. Well, finish your Baby Precious. Baby Precious is a medically sealed fetus that was aborted.
Features, as you can, because they're little human beings at that age. And we had Baby Precious there for the interview. We didn't start the interview with her, but we were saving her, and in the middle of the interview, we took out the jar and put it in front of Shirley, and she had a meltdown. She ran out of the room. She was like hysterical. Well, it tells you something. I mean, I'm sorry, but and not everybody picks it up. In fact, to be honest, most people don't. But when you have people that react that strongly, it shows that.
Oh yeah, so there's something there. Yeah, yeah. And we did, many years ago, we had for 5 years, it's hard to believe it was that long, we had a Steve Kane television show that was on cable access here in South Florida. Well, we do on YouTube, but I have every episode of the Steve Kane television show at home. Well, for some reasons I'll tell you after the show. But we had a Steve Kane television show for 5 years that aired on cable access television, and we did an abortion show. We had a pro-life person on and an abortion supporter on, and I went to the pro-life or the pro-life group at one of the churches who had another baby precious, which was an aborted fetus that was medically sealed in a jar of formaldehyde. And we did it was a very old baby, and the baby actually was my age. It was aborted the same year I was born, and which was crazy. And we did a television show like this where Steve pulled out the medically sealed aborted baby, and it was a very interesting and productive show. And then after the show, I couldn't get a hold of the people at the church that loaned us Baby Precious, and I had Baby Precious at home for a few years, and on a shelf in a closet. Well, I'll tell people what happened. So it was really a problem. I mean, what am I going to do? I mean, I can't just dispose of it. This is not, it's a body. You got to do something. Yeah, and for a long time, I tried to track down the pro-life people, and I don't know what happened to them. They flaked out on me. I could never find them. And then my daughter was born and came home, and my wife was very upset about having Baby Precious. And she said, we have 2 babies in this house now. You've got to do something about that, baby that's in the closet, Baby Precious. And I said, well, I don't know what to do. And then one day, you were on vacation, and Pastor Bob Coy, who was pastor at Calvary Chapel at the time, and Bob Coy is, I know you're still in town, we would love to have you on the show again, and we would go easy on you, okay? We're all Christians here, and we're all sinners. But anyway, he was a big deal at the time. He was the senior pastor at Calvary Chapel. He's just not a pastor anymore because of some things we don't really know the whole truth about. But anyway, so Pastor Bob Coy, at the height of his fame, was filling in, and he takes calls, and he gets a call from a liberal and says, hey, Pastor Bob Coy, do you know that Brian has a dead baby in his closet? Which I thought was interesting, that this liberal all of a sudden was calling it a baby. And Pastor Coy says, do you have a dead baby in your what is he talking about? So I told him the Baby Precious story. And then one of our listeners, Doris the Tent Lady, a good Catholic pro-life woman, contacted me, and she arranged with a priest to have a proper funeral and burial for Baby Precious. So Baby Precious had a Catholic funeral and burial here in South Florida, and which is definitely the way to go. And so we have a long history in the pro-life movement here on the Steve Kane Show. That's a little different path than a lot of people in this business, but it all turned out well in the end. But I had Baby Precious for years. In fact, my wife and I, we lived in a condo, and then we bought our house in Boca. And my wife says that you're not taking Baby Precious to our home in Boca. You got to take. And luckily, this happened at about the same time, so everything worked out well. All right, listen, let's take our break here for the bottom of the hour. If you're on hold, stand by. Our number 1-888-GO-KANE 1-888-465-2631. It's 34 minutes after the hour. We'll be back right after this. Don't go anywhere.
Hi, this is George Corey of the Soul Authority. In this time of social distancing and sheltering in place, many people have been forced to neglect their feet. We at the Soul Authority are making it possible for you to still take care of your feet while remaining in your home, as we will send a doctor to your house for all of your podiatric needs. The best part of all is that Medicare pays for this visit. So, if you're a Medicare recipient, give the Soul Authority a call today at 954-597-7060. That's 954-597-7060. Don't let social distancing stop you from taking care of your feet. Call the Soul Authority today.
Stop paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate, where they have all the major brands like Goodyear and Firestone at discount prices that absolutely can't be beaten. Steve Kane's tires for his Toyota van at the other shops, $175 a tire. At Friendly Tire, just $75 a tire. That's a $100 savings per tire. Tires for my daughter Emily's car, $135 at the shops around town. The price at Friendly Tire, only $65.
No, it was a real Catholic funeral.
These prices are
No, it was a real Catholic
on the
funeral.
road. Free mounting and balance.
Steve Kane Show.
No added charges. Friendly Tire have a great selection of good used tires too, starting at just $30 for most cars. Call my good buddy Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire. Tell him what you drive, and he will give you a great low price right over the phone at 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net.
Hi, this is Lori Kane, and I want to talk to you about Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental Care. I just love Dr. Gupta. I've been seeing him for around 3 years. He always has time for me. He never does unnecessary work, and his prices are very affordable. And if you need implants, go see him because he has the best prices around. Let me give you the number. Write it down. It's 954-922-4633. That's 954-922-4633. 4633, BrightonDentalCare.com. He's just the best.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for W.
All right, we are back. Let's go to the phones at 1-888-GO-KANE. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Something on Afghanistan.
Oh, yes.
This is the big underlying issue that I think in the long run is going to do Biden in. Obviously, the Biden supporters are going to do what they can to try to divert America's attention from that issue, where basically the President of the United States did a deal, a quid pro quo, asking the President of another country to lie to the American people. And it is on tape, and it will eventually, so far we've just seen the transcript, but eventually the tape will become public.
Oh, yeah.
The big problem Biden's got is there's a rebellion going on at the White House. It's almost in a way like what happened with Trump. There were a bunch of anti-Trump people at the White House that would be leaking all kinds of stuff. This story is going to be perpetuated by leaks over the coming weeks. Oh, we made a run.
Oh, yeah.
Over the coming weeks, and the weeks are what's going to keep America outraged, because that's an impeachable offense. I mean,
yeah,
fairly clear. Perjury is.
Well, it was more than that, and you know, the Taliban announced yesterday that their number one partner is the official announcement, like they've signed an agreement, is China, and it goes back to that thing that Biden sold Afghanistan to China.
Is going to be coming out.
Oh yeah.
That's what's going to keep the story alive, and it'll die down for a couple of days, and then there's going to be another leak. So that's what you got to look for, because that's how the thing will unfold.
Yeah. Now I just got a message here from a listener. Sent me a message on Twitter about Dan Bongino. Let me read it to you. Okay, they saw him in person. I'm just reading what they wrote. Okay, I'm just reading what they wrote. This is Tommy. Just DM'd me on Twitter. Bongino was horrible when he spoke at the Palm Beach dog track with his skinny jeans. He wore skinny jeans. Oh my goodness. Jim Jordan was unbelievable. So that's Tommy's a longtime conservative listener of the program. I know who he is. So I'd like to hear him call in and tell us about the skinny jean wearing poor performance of Bongino. Why does he say he was horrible? I'd like to know. It can't be just the skinny jeans. Oh, the skinny jeans? Oh yeah, the skinny jeans are that's kids' clothes. That's a middle-aged man who's trying to dress like a kid. That's a midlife crisis kind of outfit.
Not really relevant to what really matters.
It matters. It matters. It all matters, Steve. You want to take some calls? Okay. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Unbelievable.
Oh, yes. What's unbelievable? That you're on the air? Yeah, I guess so.
Yes.
I'd ask you what you were doing on Labor Day, but every day's a holiday for you.
Well, I'm looking forward to your Labor Day show, because generally speaking, you put on a better show on Labor Day than you do on the average day.
Oh, okay. What's on your mind? Why'd you call us today?
We have one out of every 4 COVID deaths in this country happening in Florida. Yet you say that the stand is doing a good job. he's punishing the Broward County school system for having a mask mandate. Okay? The man's a moron, and you backdate what a moron does. I understand.
What do your kids wear to school? Do your kids wear masks to school?
I have nieces.
I didn't ask about nieces and nephews. I asked about what your kids do.
Oh, you have no kids. Oh, how amazing.
Well, obviously, to quote Jen Psaki, these are decisions you have never had to make, so you should not render an opinion.
Wow. Are you going to tell you Red now that you're a big fan of Jen Psaki?
He can't even speak now. He's speechless. I caught him off guard with that one. I'm going easy on you today.
Oh,
I gave you a concussion by just going easy. I've been up since 1 a.m., about 3 hours sleep.
Punch in the nose.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't even have all my coffee this morning, and I still have you incoherent.
Hey, come Monday, I hear...
Have you ever heard him any other way?
Yeah. Oh, my God. All right, goodbye, Al. Oh, okay, well, put him back. You're back, Al. Steve wants you back.
Well,
dazzle us with your...
I let him go, Steve. I didn't want him to be late for work.
Okay, yeah, right.
Al Demings is going to be paying me good money to work.
What, for spots on the Steve Kane Show, since you're dropping names? We make money on those spots, not you.
How long has it you've been making money off the Steve Kane Show, selling
exactly.
For your call-in messages?
Exactly.
I don't think I get paid just to say that. I'm not a seminar caller.
Oh, no.
You're not even a caller.
Come on. You better pick it up or we're going to have to move on. Get somebody who is coherent.
Okay, Dick Farkle, Tim Valentine.
You wanted to really keep this guy on, Steve?
Regretting my...
Well, I want to say I'm really sad to hear about Steve Pearl passing away. I didn't...
Steve Pearl, I know that I know I'm upset over Richard Pearl's passing. Oh my gosh, he everything about him's a fraud. You know, everything about him's a fraud. I'm going to tell you I'll tell you two funny things though about Al the John. Okay, two. Then we'll break. The first time I met him was before I knew you, and I started working at the radio station you were at then, WFTL. And I met him at a sponsor, and he was wearing, this was a long time ago, guys, and I was like 20, 19. He was wearing a 3-piece suit with a pocket watch. And 3-piece suits weren't completely out then. This was like 91, 2, something like, I don't remember, 3, a long time ago. And I thought he was like the station manager or something. I thought he was like the sales manager for the radio. He was so well dressed, and he kind of pulled one off on me. But a funny thing happened with him on this show about 5 or 6 years ago. Okay? I was on the way to work, and I stopped off at a gas station on the way into work. It's early in the morning. It's about 4:30 in the morning to get gas. And a prostitute propositioned me. She came up to me at the gas pump and asked if I wanted a date, which, of course, I said no. But anyway, she went up to the street and was, doing her thing, like trying to flag down cars. And this was a long time ago, and I used to live stream on Periscope, and I happened to be live streaming on Periscope in my car, and I showed her on the street. And I said, look, this is a hooker. And I didn't show the street sign. It was dark, and I zoomed in because I didn't want people to know where I was. And all you could see in the sea of blackness was the prostitute. And Al called me on the air that day and knew exactly where that was. There were no street signs, no landmarks. All you could see was her, but he knew what street corner that was. I can only... I don't know. I don't know how else he would have known. I mean, I couldn't believe. I mean, it was... And he was right. He told me exactly what street corner that was. Oh, man. All right. Listen, we're going to take a break and come back with the gold report. Don't go anywhere. I'm Brian. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show. We'll be right back.
Traveling and need a COVID test? Maybe you need a COVID
True
test
story.
for work or school. Stop by any
Steve Kane Show. Steve Kane? Yes, hold on. Steve Kane Show. Steve Kane Show. Hey, Jeff. Hey, you know, we've got a full board of calls. I don't think you'll make it on. There's like 5-6 people ahead of you. I'm just telling you so you don't hang on. Huh? Okay, talk to you then. Okay. That was Jeff in Maine. There's like full board. He'll never make it on. I didn't want him to hang on and not make it on. You know what I mean?
Stop paying an outrageous fortune for your
Hey there.
tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate, where they have
That was Jeff in Maine. There's 7 callers that called in ahead of him. And I don't know, you might get 1 or 2 on before the end of the show. So I didn't want him to hold on needlessly. If it was Al calling back, I would have let him hold.
Emily's car, $135 at the shops around town. The price at Friendly Tire, only $65. That's a $70 savings per tire. These prices are out the door and on the road. Free mounting and balancing and no added charges. Friendly Tire have a great selection of good used tires too, starting at just $30 for most cars. Call my good buddy Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire. Tell him what you drive and he will give you a great low price right over the phone at 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Online, Friendly Tire.
Mike O'Hara, $5 super chat. Everyone thank Mike. Keep it on, Brian. This is great. Yeah. All right. You know what time it is, Steve? It's Gold Report time. Mm-hmm.
Looking very good, Steve. After a disappointing jobs report with only 235,000
Sarah, $100 super chat. Thank you so much, Sarah. Everyone, please thank Sarah. Have a great weekend, Brian. Steve, say hi to Steve from Sarah. I'm going to see Steve after the show today. I'll tell him hello.
Market on gold just shot
Thank you.
up like
Everyone, thank
$20
Sarah.
very quickly.
Thank you.
The gold yesterday we saw close at $1,809.60. That was down $5 after trading in a range of $1,809 to $1,831. The silver closed.
No, Steve decided we're working on Monday.
$23.89 yesterday, which was down 22 cents. Platinum was down $2.0994, and palladium closed down $38 at 23.44. Actually, very excited to see all the Steve Kane listeners taking advantage of these dips in the prices, and it paid off today as gold is up $14.90 right now at $1,824.50 the ounce.
Wow.
42 cents at $24.33. Platinum up $6 at $1,000 even, and palladium down $6 at $2,338. Oil back over $70 a barrel. The U.S. dollar continues to fall. Bitcoin at $50,700. So the market is looking for areas to put money, and security and safety is only found in the precious metals, and especially at these very low bargain levels.
Now, you're open regular hours today, but obviously closed on Monday and then back on Tuesday? Okay. Okay, so, yeah, William Youngerman is open 10 to 5 weekdays, but obviously closed on Labor Day like everyone else, but Steve Kane Show will be here on Monday live. You can give William Youngerman a call, toll-free, 1-800-327-5010, 1-800-327-5010, online, WilliamYoungerman.com. Located right here in Boca Raton at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, immediately east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. All right, William Youngerman, have a great weekend. We'll talk on Tuesday. All right, take care, take care. All right. Yes, some people in the audience are learning things about us today. We're doing True Confessions on the Steve Kane Show today. All right, good morning. You're on the radio. Good morning, caller. Okay. Oh, yes, you're on the air. What's your name?
Juliet from Sacramento.
Sacramento, California. All right.
California, yeah. Hey, I wanted to mention, my kids go to that school district where those kids went on the field trip to Afghanistan. Still haven't got them back. Went on the field trip. And I was going to say that that school district, we have a huge community just down the street, and it's all people even the Sam's Club in front is geared to their food, and it's a huge community. So I'm wondering, the schools, they can't even go to an aquarium.
Well, let me tell you something here. Okay, so if you didn't catch what she said, her children go to the school where the students that took a field trip to Afghanistan. I don't know what the hell you are in California. That's a crazy thing. We used to go to the zoo on field trips, but Afghanistan?
Okay, a trip to...
Yeah. Where are they going next year? Where are they going next year? North Korea? But the kids are trapped there. And here's what I would tell you to do. I'm so glad you called, and I mean this. I really mean this. At that school, you need to get in touch with Larry Elder, not your skinny pant recalled governor. Get a hold of Larry Elder. This is he could bring a lot of attention to this story. I did not realize those kids were not returned. How old are these children?
No, they're 7th grade.
Seventh? I thought they were released in high school. Oh my goodness. Well, how old is that? 13? And they're
Current thinking.
Are the parents with them?
I don't know about that. I don't know about the parents, but
oh goodness.
Parents had to approve it.
And they're not even announcing it that much here in our area in the news. Just like the Natomas. My nephew goes to the Natoma school district where that Antifa teacher was teaching. It's down the street too. These are districts in my area, my zip code. And people, I was going to mention, that recall that's coming. Thank goodness, because there's a lot of. I believe he's going to be gone.
Well, I know Newsom. I knew Newsom is scared of Larry Elder when I saw him picking up trash under the bridges in California. When I saw him doing that.
You really have to make an effort.
Yeah.
This could make a big difference.
Larry Elder.
I wouldn't ask you to put yourself out if it wasn't important. Get a hold of Larry
Jacqueline,
Elder's
$20 super sticker. Thank you. Everyone, thank Jacqueline.
Who talk much for a living.
Yeah. Email them on his website. Call the office. There's the campaign office. Go to. I'm serious as a heart attack.
And underline everything, and let them know this is an important thing to the campaign.
And think about this, okay? Not only will Larry Elder get those kids back, okay? He'll save California. That could firm up him winning against Skinny Pant Newsom. I'm serious.
Right, yesterday, because
Find a phone number and call them. And you got to start by this. Call the campaign office and say I am a parent from the school of the kids that are stuck in Afghanistan. You got to get to that real quick. Don't email. Call. Find a phone number and call. I'm telling you.
I would call, and I would also put it on the website.
But make sure you call. And you might have to call back a few times. You'll save the kids and California at the same time. I'm serious.
Yeah.
I thought those kids were back. How the hell did Biden leave 7th graders in Afghanistan? What the hell? Oh.
In the local news over here.
I'm shocked about two things. I thought they were high school kids. What wackadoodle parents you got out in California. And I just assumed they got them back because they're American kids on a field trip.
No, they're still not back yet.
Oh my gosh. They could be in Tehran.
And there's one more thing I wanted to mention. My family, we got COVID at the beginning of July, right?
Mm-hmm. What, successful and open and free? Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Different hospitals.
Well, listen, we're out of time, so I gotta cut you loose. But listen, call Larry Elder's office, bombard them. Yeah, we'll be here on Monday on Labor Day. Big commie holiday, Labor Day, by the way. Real quick, we're almost out of time, but I want to tell everybody we had a COVID scare in the family yesterday. My daughter, she started in-person classes for the first time, just like a couple weeks ago since the COVID. And yesterday she came home, she thought she had COVID. She had all the symptoms, and she was really worried. And, of course, her parents were worried. We don't want to get COVID. We don't want her to have it. We certainly don't want her to spread it around to the grandparents. So I walked her. I drove with her. She was so worried. She drove separately. She didn't want to be in the car with me, but I went with her to Any Lab Test Now of Boca, and they do the test right there. We got the results in 15 minutes, and she was negative. And let me tell you, it was a relief for her big time, and me, and my wife as well. Spending the whole weekend wondering if she had COVID or not. They have the lowest prices on all of their lab tested, including their COVID test. But you can get that test result in 15 minutes or less. Ours was less than 15 minutes. I ran into 2 listeners while I was over there, too. Thank you all for supporting Any Lab Test Now of Boca and Coral Springs. There's lots of Any Lab Test Nows around, but only 2 advertising on the Steve Kane Show. Any Lab Test Now of Boca, where I was yesterday with my daughter at the Sandalfoot Plaza, where the Western Beef is, south of Palmetto, north of Hillsboro. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs on the southeast corner of University Drive in Ramblewood by the Coral Square Mall, and they are open on Saturdays. We're out of time, Steve. You have just seconds to say goodbye, like 10 seconds.
Does it for today. We will be here on Monday. You be sure to be here as well. And until then, on behalf of our technical director, Tyler Kane, Brian Craig, my co-host, I am Steve Kane. You know me.
10
See
seconds.
you Monday. God bless America.
I want to tell everyone, we lost our friend last weekend, Richard Pearl, and it's amazing that, Steve, I'm still hearing from people who are just... All right, guys. Hey, listen. Sarah, Jacqueline, thank you so much for those super chats. Thank you. And everyone, hey, thanks for watching today. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Everyone, before you go, like the video. Liking the video tells the YouTube algorithm to recommend this video to other people that like this kind of content and think like we do, all right? So liking the video helps a lot. It really does. So make sure you do that. Guys, I got to run. Take care.